right, good morning. If there's anybody even here. A minute early. All right, just made it. Hey, Nate. All right, let me get a couple final things here. Set up. All right, if you can hear me, and if I sound okay audio-wise, hit that number 1 if you don't mind. Team Trading Strategies. Good to see you. Frank, morning. Lee Waffo, good morning. Jeff, good, thank you. Perfect. I think there's more people here than what I'm seeing on my end because it shows viewers at 4. Oh, okay, there we go. 4 to 22, just like that. All right. Cole, good morning. Hopefully everybody has their drink of choice. Black coffee for me. So we'll try to get a few more people on here, and then we'll hop into the stream, which will be Team Trading Trading's got his coffee. Very good. So yeah, let me know what's your drink of choice. What is your drink of choice? That's always a good way to. I like to hear what people like to drink on there. Well, I suppose it might be afternoon for somebody, depending on your location in the world. But I think most people here are in the morning. Some might be really early morning if you're on the West Coast. If you're on the East Coast, maybe you're saying, I don't know if this is morning anymore. This is like late morning because it's 10 o'clock for you. 9 o'clock for me. I'm in Central Time. Tony's not messing around. He's just like, what's your opinion? Fair enough, Tony. Fair enough. Well, on that note, this will be, by the way, as always, if you've been to a Saturday morning coffee and you know you enjoy these, hit that like button. But the way this works is it's totally driven by you, the viewer. We will, this will go whatever pathway we go on. So whether that's if you have a request for a stock analysis or a forex chart analysis or a futures chart analysis, or you have a question. I'm not going to say I can answer all questions, but just a question. Maybe you have a question about prop firms, because that's kind of what we preach around here, are trading futures through a prop firm. So, so that's how it's gonna go. It's completely viewer driven, and Tony's got us off to a good start. And this is now the time to try to make a request, because once more people show up, then I have to start to throw out there, well, if you want me to for sure get to your request and you want me to get to it right away, then a $5 super chat makes that happen. Super chats are not required. All I'm saying is, if you don't do the super chat, then there's 2 risks. 1, I don't get to your request, or 2, I don't get to your request until 20, 25 minutes after you make it. And whether or not you have that amount of time, I don't know. But that is that is a risk you take without a super chat. But right now, like I said, I don't think any super chats are needed because you are here, you were here early before a bunch of requests and comments and conversation starts to kick up. Morty, I'm deleting that out. We around here we preach take profit trader. That's the one to use. And if you are if you would consider yourself an intermediate or advanced prop firm trader, meaning you have good solid experience with prop firms, then Apex. So that's kind of the way it works around here from that point of view. Is if you're a beginner, certainly got to go with Take Profit Trader. But even if you're the other two, Take Profit Trader, I think they're the best in the industry, mainly due to that payment policy that they have. You can request money. Once you get to the pro account, you can request it from day 1, and you can request it every single day in any amount you want. So that just makes them superior to all other prop firms, just how smooth their payment policy is. But yes, if you fall into maybe you already use Take Profit Trader and you're looking to expand some more, and so if you've already used Take Profit Trader, you got them all figured out, and you're looking to expand the prop firm empire, then Apex. And then yes, if you use code Clay, that will not only give you the current promotions and discounts, but that will also help you to support the channel. So if you're looking to kind of just support the channel, code Clay will do that. But yes, those are the props. But anything else, the whole point of this channel, or the live stream, I should say, is to get people involved in a day trading futures through a prop firm in a smooth, not complicated, not overwhelming way. And the quickest way to make things overwhelming is to have like 47 different prop firms being talked about, because then a new person is to be like, I have no idea what prop firm this is getting too overwhelming, and then they never make the switch, and then they lose out on good quality opportunity. Yeah, I would. Oh, Morty, you definitely have to do with Take Profit Trader, Morty. Like I said, their payment policy absolutely amazing. Like I said, you can, once you get into the pro account, you can request payments from day number 1, and then you can request in any amount too, in any amount. And I'm emphasizing that to Morty because Morty, given that he is experience with Apex, he kind of already understands with Apex. Again, they're not a scam because I do it this way, but Apex, if you make money, you can't request money for a pretty significant amount of time, but then even at that point, you can't quite request all the money you've made. And, you know, like I said, it's just a much more drawn out process. With Take Profit Trader, though, if you make, let's just say, $2,500, well, then you can request that money right away, and you can request all $2,500. All right. All right. Tony requested QQQ. So that's good, because we were probably going to be starting off right around there anyways. Just always good to start off these live streams with kind of a look at the overall markets again. If you're enjoying, make sure you hit that like button. If you've been here before, hit that like button. All right. Well, talked about QQQ last Saturday. So that is where this red line here is coming from, the key area of resistance. Yeah. They're definitely, I think they're best in the industry because of that. I mean, you could literally get paid every single day. And their payouts are super fast too. I requested one Thursday. Thursday. Yeah, Thursday late afternoon. I want to say like 3:30 p.m. Eastern. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I should get this tomorrow morning. And it was like 20 minutes later, your payment has been approved, and then you got to click one more button. And then all of a sudden, you log into your bank account, and there it is, pending, just like that. So not only can you request it whenever you want, as often as you want, in any amount you want, but it's fast too. It's fast. All right, so QQQ, like I was saying, we had this area of resistance that I talked about last week, up here right around 518.65, and yeah, this has kind of gone into stubborn mode. The price did break above it, but as I talked about last week, the big question mark headed into this week was, all right, price has gotten up above it, but is there going to be any follow through? Is this a genuine break, or is that just kind of some little false break? Didn't have any sort of genuine power behind it. What markets are open today? Crypto markets are open. But no, we with hindsight now, that was not a genuine strong move. I'll tell you what was a pretty dirty move, though, was right here on this day. So what was that, Wednesday? Because think about it, at one point Wednesday, this was a green candle. That was a big, solid green candle. And then Wednesday turned into that, which was a sign, this might have been a genuine false breakout here. And yeah, the rest is history. That was the leading indicator candle there. Came up, got smacked back down, leaving us behind this upper shadow. You can see the next day did try again, but got surprise, rejected right at that red line. And then Friday with the gap down here. Now, to be fair, the overall trend is still plenty up. You could argue, which I would not disagree with. Yeah, Clay, fair enough, it's pulled back. But what was happening if we're looking at multiple days? Where was the price at beginning of the month compared to where it's at right now? See, Clay, look, you just drew a bull flag. Totally true. So I'm not saying that this fake breakout and this pullback here means the entire chart's epically destroyed or anything like that. Excuse me. But what I am saying is, yes, this key area of resistance that we were wondering about last week did ultimately play out and behave as an area of resistance. So we'll drop down to the 30-minute, though, just... So 30-minute wise, I think that in the very near term, I'll leave that line up there because that is still important from the daily standpoint. Whoops. Let's try that again. There we go. In the near term here on the 30-minute, this level has been, makes perfect sense why we'll call it 511.85 is resistance, just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support. So we can all, hopefully the majority of us can agree that this was an area of support. Price came down here, it bounced. But when areas of support are broken, they tend to act as resistance. So right here, it was broken via the gap down. And then what a surprise. Price bounced up, and oh, look at that. You could throw this right into a textbook. Classic example of, again, support now turning into resistance right there. So keep an eye on that. That's going to be, yes, 518.65, which we were just looking at on the daily chart, is still an area of resistance. My core point here is before you really put too much emphasis on that, prices first got to clear a couple other hurdles. First hurdle being that 511.85, and then the next hurdle being that 50-period simple moving average right there. If this rejection does have, and this rejection being defined as this movement down right here, if there's more strength to it, then yes, keep a very close eye now on the pink line right there, the 200-period moving average. If the price does drop down below 505.50, then I could see this upcoming week picking up some more bearishness. Am I willing to say that it's totally going to crash? That might be a little bit too much of an exaggeration, but I could see it certainly picking up some downside pressure. Excuse me, still trying to get over this cold that's been going through, or it's really just sickness, but that's been going through my family. But so that's the I don't think we need to really drop down any further than that. But so there's the daily and the 30-minute on the Qs. Again, if you have a request for a stock, for an ETF, for a forex pairing, for a futures chart, for a crypto, let me know and I'll do it. And would it want to fill the gap? Yeah, I mean that is a threat. I mean, if it breaks down through here, does it want to go down there and fill the gap? It could. But, I mean, gaps don't have to be filled. I know that's like, oh, well, all gaps have to be filled. No, they don't. Nothing has to happen in the market. Because if something has to happen, that means there's a guarantee. And guarantees do not exist. But, yeah. So, maybe this thing does ultimately want to come down there and close the gap. But as a side note here, on the point about gaps, even if I just grant, okay, fine. Because we're like, well, all gaps close. It's like, okay. I'm pretty sure statistically, not all gaps close. But even if I grant all gaps close, yeah, when? How long is that going to take, right? Because think about it. Here's a gap right here. There's a gap. Well, it's going to close. It's going to close. And to be fair, maybe this gap closes. But, how long is this person waiting? When exactly is that gap going to get closed? Are we talking about, a couple days from now, a couple weeks from now, a couple months from now, a couple years from now, that gap's going to get closed? So even if you just grant the person, okay, fine, all gaps have to close, you still, those people still have a massive problem of, yeah, but when is it going to close, right? All right, let's see. Let's see. And again, I just start at the top. That's why I say, the benefit of a super chat. The benefit of a super chat is I will do yours immediately right away. But if you're like, no, I'm in no rush, Clay, then all right, then no need to do a super chat. But that's just kind of the one benefit, because I'm going to scroll back up to the top of the chat. Let's see. Oh, that's weird. Did GME have a good day or something? Team Trading Strategies and then Jeff back-to-back talking about GME. So, I mean, immediately off my thought, I just think of pure garbage. But I don't know, did GME start to come to life again? We'll about to find out. Oh, it did have a good day. A good past couple days. We have, he shows up at the live stream every now and then, JDA. But he's convinced this is headed to $500. So to give him credit, we're getting closer to 500. Much closer than where it was. But still got a ways to go before 500 shows up. But right away, the big battleground here. I don't know what this. Oh, okay. I must have done that because this green line here does indeed. I can see this being supports, but that's pretty irrelevant right now given where the price is at. But yes, the big battleground, the big question point, and this is by no means any sort of great discovery on my part. But right here at, let's just call it 34.40. Rejected the price. So you got to think that everybody and their brother's uncle is going to be watching this level headed into this upcoming week, wondering, can the price push up through that area? And if it can, I could see that being one of those self-fulfilling prophecy areas where you have enough people watching and saying, okay, I'm a breakout trader. Okay, that's breaking out of a key level. Because I'm a breakout trader and because it's breaking out, I'm therefore supposed to buy, so I'm just going to buy, right? Again, yeah, self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't have any. Some people throw those at some people throw things like that at those of us that use charts as like it's supposed to make charts not real or not worthwhile or not productive. Well, all that stuff is just self-fulfilling prophecies. Well, think about what that person just conceded. They just conceded that there is such a thing as self-fulfilling prophecy. So if that is true, that there is such a thing as self-fulfilling prophecies, wouldn't it be wise to know what those self-fulfilling prophecies are so that maybe you could potentially leverage them to your advantage? I don't know. That's kind of how I look at that. So never, if you ever come across somebody that throws that in your face, like that stuff is all just hocus pocus, self-fulfilling prophecies. Ah, okay. You got them. You got them right there. They just conceded that self-fulfilling prophecies exist. So anyways, one of those areas where, let me be very clear, it's not like it's a guarantee. It's not like it's for sure going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy where if this comes up here and breaks, then a bunch of breakout players are going to buy. You don't know that, but it's at least a rational thought to have. Like there's a structure behind that whole idea. So the idea that people could be buying is totally true. The other thing to think is I think a lot of the shorts. In fact, I don't even know if this is considered a highly shorted stock anymore. Yeah, I don't know how much of the float. Let me. GME, how much of float short? As the latest report, 431 GameStop has approximately. Okay, yeah. So like it's very little. It's not a very shorted stock anymore. So I just say all that because it makes you wonder. Okay, if 3440 is broken, yes, you could generate some of the self-fulfilling prophecy from breakout traders. Like, oh look, that's breaking out. I'm a breakout trader, therefore I'm going to buy. But you also have to wonder how many stop losses are hiding up above that area from the shorts, right? Because shorts, assuming that they're going to be responsible, disciplined traders, are going to have stop losses. So that therefore follows, okay, well, where do we think these stop losses of disciplined shorts would be? And to me, it makes sense that I could see disciplined shorts putting their stops up above that area. Therefore, if the price does come up there and break up through there, you could kind of have a double whammy of buying. You could have, again, just a self-fulfilling prophecy breakout traders buying, but then you could also have shorts buying so that they can exit out of their position. So I think that 3440 mark, very, very interested heading into next week. And let's look at the 30 minutes, see if we're okay. Not a whole lot on the 30 minute other than just kind of last 30 minutes of the day and of the week, very strong, and it basically broke out of the little consolidation pattern that had been forming, during the. Wow, that's a pretty bad looking bull pennant, but point being, it did break out of whatever little kind of consolidation it had going on. From more of a pullback standpoint, I suppose, right down here might be a interesting pullback area at 31.75, as that was kind of the little consolidation area right there. But really, just from the bigger picture point of view, on the 30-minute, that is assuming you care about just kind of the overall trend, the overall health of things. As long as the price stays above that purple line, that being the 50-period moving average, keyword being moving. So as that line moves higher and higher, as long as the price stays above it, then, from the overarching standpoint, got to say that the bulls are in control. People who went short end of March could be covering the last couple of days. No, exactly. Yeah, yep. I'm sure there were some shorts in here. All I'm trying to convey is the people that thinking like GME's going up to some crazy amount. There's not that many shorts. Like back in COVID, during the first monster run, there is so many shorts in the thing. Right now, there's shorts in it, but it's not anywhere to those epic levels. So you're not going to get that sort of epic short squeeze that I think some people apparently still think is going to be coming. Again, let me know if you have a request. Stock option futures pairing. Did I say futures pairing? Forex pairing, futures chart, crypto. We'll take a look at it. $5 super chat. Hop to the front of the line, and I'll do it right away. If not, I'm just going through the order in which I get them. I am from India. Well, welcome. Good to have you from India. V. Jeff Ball must be in Ohio. MR, NVIDIA. All right, I'm going to go through NVIDIA quick because I covered this one on my... So as I guess as a plug, but also as just kind of some of you are apparently not aware, given you're making these requests. But I do a top 10 stocks at the end of every day. So if you want, you can just, in fact, I'm just going to link this to, what was his name? Amar. There you go, Amar. That, your request is actually part of this list that I did. So there you go. When you go to the page, scroll down, and then there you go. You'll have the top 10 stocks. And that's for May 27th. Remember, the U.S. stock market is closed on Monday for Labor Day. So while I do make typos, that one's actually not a typo. That is for Tuesday, because that's the next time the stock market will be open. Futures market will be open a little bit on Monday. Well, I guess it'll open up Sunday at 6 p.m. as normal, but it'll close a little earlier on Monday. Yeah, as I already mentioned, what markets are open today? Well, Bitcoin's open today. So what's Bitcoin up to right now? Is it still at the highs? No, pulled back a little bit. Big move. What was that? Back there on Wednesday or whatever. But yeah, right now you can see it's moving around. Well, in fact, let's just go to the 1 minute. So there we go. Bitcoin moving around. So it is open, but please don't go and day trade Bitcoin or day trade crypto. There are better ways to go about day trading. Okay, we call it Pam's plan. Okay, so day trading crypto is an inefficient way to go about day trading for a multitude of reasons. But yes, to answer your question, cryptos are open today, but don't day trade cryptos. There's a better way. There's a better way, mathematically provable, better way. AVAX crypto. I don't know what AVAX crypto is. Like, I don't even know. Yeah, well, what's the symbol for AVAX crypto? How would I even look that up? If you can let me know that, I'd be happy to take a look at it. Everyone has been screaming about a big short squeeze on GME. Okay, yeah, I already covered that. Yeah, those people are just they don't understand how it works. Again, there could be a squeeze, but it's not going to be anything epic because there's not that many people short on the stock right now. Back during the COVID short squeeze, like there was an insane amount of people that were short the stock, but that's not the case anymore. That squeeze has come and gone. PDAI. What time does it close? What's the best way to trade crypto on weekends? To not trade crypto, to go enjoy life. To go enjoy life. Day trading crypto is not worth it. Why GameStop garbage? They're just I mean, I guess I'll let their own price action speak for them. Let's go to the monthly. So I mean, yeah, that's obviously the big short squeeze that's famous, but ever since then, I mean, they're basically the only reason they haven't dropped back down to here is because, I mean, there's still enough of a cult following that is stuck here. You know, there's still people that bought here that are stuck. That was supposed to be a day trade that turned into a swing trade that has now turned into a multi-year investment. But when I say garbage, to be fair to GameStop, I'm talking about more so from just like there's better ways to go about trying to trade, and because a lot of people they're going to trade GameStop in the sense of, okay, I don't have a whole lot of money. So, but I want to grow that money, and if I grow that money, then I can get over that magical $25,000 mark. Because once you get over there, I can become a day trader, and then I can buy and sell stocks as much as I want, whenever I want. And that's all just a total distraction, because there are, like I said, there are ways. Basically, this: you could be a day trader. Day trader being defined as buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell as much as you want every single day for $105, and you could have $25,000 of purchasing power. So, like, there are better ways to do that, but a lot of people, so that's what I mean, it's just garbage in the sense of efficiency more so. Yeah, I think the company's still quite the struggle, but to be intellectually fair and honest, I can't say I follow the GameStop company from a fundamental standpoint. So maybe they've done some changes. But I will say this. Anybody that's out there preaching and telling you the big short squeeze is coming, that's a red flag of one of two things. Either they're new and they don't know what they're doing, so they should not be making such proclamations because, well, they're new. Or they're not new. They know that it's garbage and not true. And yet they're just doing it. So they're just trying to deceive people so that they can try to build up more hype. But again, there's no massive short squeeze coming because there's not a bunch of shorts. That's what I looked up earlier. In fact, let me just bring it over. So right here, as of for GameStop has approximately 11, or let's just call it 12%. 12% of the short floated. So, I mean, again, I'm not saying that there couldn't be a bit more of a pop. I think that's what's probably contributing to this right now. I'm sure there are some shorts starting to feel it, so they're starting to hop out. But what was the float short in GME in, I don't know. Okay, so right here. So here we have in 2020 the short float on GME was significant with the short interest ratio approaching 140%. So what caused that huge spike, that epic short squeeze? Because the amount of the float that was shorted was 140%. What do we see that it is right now? 12%. So back to my core point. Anybody that's telling you or making you try to believe or saying that GME has a massive squeeze coming and it's going to be this, that, or the other, there's one of two possibilities. They're just new and you know, we all start off as new morons. I was king moron. Maybe I'll tell my story. I've told it many times before. I don't feel like telling it again. But I assure you, I was one of the biggest morons out there. So when I say that, I don't mean it disrespectfully. That's just the fact of the matter. They're either a newbie and total moron. You don't want to listen to newbie total morons, all right? That'd be a bad person to listen to. Or they're just deceiving you because they full well know what I just showed here, and they're like, well, yeah, but if people don't actually understand that, I'm just gonna keep yapping, so I can try to bring people in to buy so that I can dump my shares on them. But yes, so and I don't know if people are out there preaching that. I don't know if people are making the claim that, well, we have JDA thinking that there's gonna be some epic short squeeze up to $500. But yeah, that's why I try to convince. I'm like, JD, no, that's not happening. Here's the data. That's not going to happen when there's 12% of the float. Now, if you're sitting here saying that, you know, once again, that the float's at 140% higher, maybe, even if it was like 70, 80, heck, even like 60% of the float, maybe even up to like 50% of the float. Okay, I could see some significant short squeezes, but it's at 12 right now. I mean, it's hyped. But I don't know if it's super. It used to be super hyped, that's for sure. Fully agree. It used to be super hyped. Moses just trying to learn. Very good. Well, I'm glad you're here to learn. But yes, to your point, Moses, we're asked, it's a good company. Maybe it's a good company, but I don't. I mean, I do invest, but these sorts of live streams and where kind of my mind goes when I'm looking at all this stuff is more so from a trading standpoint. All right. And again, if I do not get your request, I apologize. I'm trying my best, but like I said at the beginning, now we're getting to the point where there's more people here, more interaction, which is great. But that's where the $5 super chat starts to gain value because it'll send you right to the front of the line. I'll see your request or your question or whatever, and I'll get to it right away. Again, not required, but that is what that's getting you as opposed to he talk about GameStop, third highest week candle in 3 years. Okay, sorry, I'm back. What time does it close Monday? The futures market. Where are we? Looks like Monday at a variety of times. Okay, noon. CST though, that's Central. So I guess 1 p.m. Eastern. Can somebody confirm that? I think 1 p.m. Eastern it closes on Monday. What do you think about trading CFDs on crypto being prohibited in the UK? Aiden, what country are you in? These questions make me think you're barking up just inefficient trees that might not need to be barked up. England, okay, you're in England. Good. That's so far so good. Are you wanting to be a day trader, and are you interested in like the USA markets at all? But when I hear CFDs on crypto, I just like, that's inefficient. There are better things that you could trade. And I ask about the USA markets because the USA markets are the most liquid in the world, meaning you're going to get the smoothest movement. So, well, I'm trading okay. That's fine, you're trading that, but what I'm submitting to you and suggesting is, would you like to be most efficient in your trading? Like, just to hear that on natural oil, like, there's no way that that's some sort of smooth moving market. I can tell you there's a smarter, there's a more efficient way. There's a way for you to work smarter, not harder. Been following you for 18 years now on Stock Twitch too. Wow, you were old then if you've been following me for that long. We are old. So yes, Aiden, you are in England. So if you want to be a day trader, again, day trader being defined as buy and sell as much as you want every single day, then I would recommend what we talk about here, Pam's Plant. I'll just go through it very quickly. But Pam's Plant, so Pam's is an argument about why, if you want to day trade, you should day trade futures. Futures they're just the best thing to day trade. They just move better than everything else. The gains, I mean, they're great to trade. They're great to trade, but it's a twofold thing because of this one right here, because they can move. And oh boy, they can move. Well, I trade meme stocks. I trade low float small caps. I trade penny stocks. Those things move. Yeah, you think those things move. Step into the world of futures, and anybody that trades futures knows exactly what I mean. But because of the movement aspect, I would never say just go trade futures with your own money. Very, very risky, very dangerous because of then. They move, and they move very quickly. That's why here we say Pam's Plant, the plant being a prop firm. And the nice thing about the prop firm, or one of the many nice things, is the low capital required. So I don't know where you stand capital-wise, Aiden. But capital-wise, if you use the prop firm that I use and recommend, which I should note is open to those, that's why I asked what country you're in. It is open to people in the UK, in England. So this is totally a viable thing that you could do. But the prop firm I use is right here, Take Profit Trader. And if you have $105 $105 in US dollars, you could get yourself $25K in purchasing power, and that is also your risk. So the way the prop firm works is you first got to, kind of prove that you can trade by passing the test. I'll go over that, but you got to prove yourself that you can trade, and then you move from the test into the pro accounts, and then these accounts you are able to get paid. So the money you make there, you get to take out. What is this test? Well, if you do the minimum, so if you just do the 25K, you got to be able to manage risk. You can't show up and act like a degen. So they don't want you losing more than $1,500, but the goal is to make $1,500. But the case here is, let's say you go and you do something stupid. You get caught in a crazy move. Maybe you go on tilt, you FOMO, you revenge trade, and you lose $1,500. Now, if you were doing that with your own money, which it sounds like you're doing right now, if you have a bad day with your own money, well, then a bad day means you would have lost all $1,500. A bad day within a prop firm doesn't mean you lost $1,500. It does mean you lost your account, though. But how much money does that mean you lost? Well, it just means you're out whatever the cost of the account was. In this situation, $105. To which you can't always get the account back for $100, which is also nice because if you do, let's say the $100,000, yeah, your first account is $231. But again, in this situation, let's just say you have a bad day. Now, if you're having a bad day with your own money, well, then a bad day, that could very well be $3,000 out of your pocket. In the prop firm world, yeah, a bad day means you failed this test, you failed. But does that mean you lost $3,000 out of your pocket? It doesn't. it means you only lost 231. But again, you can always try the test again, but in this situation, it would only be $100. So much less than the original 231. So that's the other part of Pam's plan. Not only is the low capital required to get, really good day trading power, but it's just got the added risk control via you protect your own money. How do you protect your own money? Well, as I just demonstrated, you put very, 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 very little of your money at risk in the first place. So that is stop wasting your time with these CFD crypto waste of time. I promise you. And right now, everybody, and maybe somebody can chime in, but every single person that's been on the live stream since I started going on about 4 months ago. Sorry, I got to put on my geek glasses. These, I'm still getting over sickness, so the headaches kind of still show up. So this helps with the Blu-ray, or what is that? The blue light coming off. So I'm going into geek mode here. This, I don't remember what I was saying, but yeah. I've been doing this about 4 months, and I will say that I am right now 100%. Everybody that has used to day trade something else has come back and said, yeah, Clay, I used to day trade stocks, or I used to day trade options, or I day traded crypto, but I was open-minded enough to give Pam's plan a try. And wow, Pam's plan, I'm never going back to what I was doing, because futures, they just move better. And then to know that I can, trade futures in a very kind of risk-controlled environment because of the prop firm here. Thank you, Clay. And that's nothing better than hearing a thank you. Like, you've kind of opened somebody's eyes to a strategy, and that's what this is. Pam's plan is just a day trading strategy in the sense of how do you become a day trader for less than $25,000, and how do you trade something that moves really nice, and then you have that maximum risk protection. So there you go. If you want to work more efficiently, Pam's plan is how you go about it. Did they get your account figured out, Mike? If not, like I said, let me know by Monday. Or I guess Monday's a holiday, though. So maybe Tuesday? I don't understand the profit. This right here is, so you have to get into the pro account. The pro accounts is where you make money in the sense of you get to keep that money. But you first got to prove yourself. You got to pass the test. The test is that $1,500. So for this one, you've got to be able to make $1,500, but they don't want you losing $1,500. If you go with a 50K purchasing power, so to get to the pro account there, and so in other words, to pass the test, you've got to make $3,000, but they don't want you losing $2,000. Now you may be saying, $3,000? I've never made $3,000. I'm telling you, and anybody that trades futures here can tell you that because of this component of futures and their movement, $3,000 in a month is more than reasonable. And I say a month because that is you can take as long as you want to pass the test. But I always recommend get it done within a month so that you don't have to make this payment again. Because once you go from the test phase into the pro accounts, they don't have any sort of monthly fee. But during the test phase, there is that monthly fee. So, which is why I say, well, if you just can pass within a month, then you don't have to worry about making that multiple times. And again, $3,000 in a month, I've never done that. You'll have to just trust me or listen to other people. Futures move and move very quickly. 3,000 in a month is quite realistic. No, well, they had an issue. So you basically signed up, Mike. And that, because I was talking to the person there, they had an issue on the day you signed up with new accounts and resets, and then that just created they had like a software glitch. Something happened on their back end that created the problem that you're experiencing. So they just got a tidal wave so they instantly fell behind, even though they've hired more people and that they were finding a better groove. I mean, they're definitely back into their groove on payments. Like I was saying earlier, I requested a payment on Thursday at like 3:30, and it was like pending in my bank account, I think within the hour. It was super fast, like back to like their normal way. So I know they've caught back up, but yeah, this was kind of a self-induced tidal wave. But yeah, they should get to it on Tuesday. If not, definitely let me know, and I'll drop my person an email. Hey, if you're enjoying, make sure you hit that like button. I always forget to ask on Saturdays, but yeah, if you are enjoying, I'm always looking for feedback, and the like button does help. So if you don't mind hitting it, let me know. And again, if you have requests for a stock, future, forex, crypto, if you have just a question on trading, question on prop firms, let me know. That's kind of my passion here. Is if you are a day trader and you want to start to be, if you want to turn into a day trader today, that is possible if you have $105. What, Clay? You need $25,000 though. There's this pattern day trading rule. Nope, not with the day trading strategy that I talk about. That is totally legit. It's just one that a lot of people don't know about. They people like myself show up and they think in the world of stocks or options, well, you got to have $25,000 to get around the pattern day trading rule. Nope, you need $105. That's all you need. I did some damage to my new P2P account, Ryan, but not going to let it. Okay. Some damage is better than ultimate damage. But odds are you're probably going to blow it just because I don't know anybody that's not ever blown their first ever test account. But that's why I always say there's no in the prop firm world, like blowing accounts is part of the game. Because you could blow 10 accounts and then you go on a run with one and you easily pay for all those blown accounts plus a lot more. So that's just part of like the risk management within the prop firm world. So even if you blow it, Fairchild, don't be scared of blowing it. Obviously, you're not trying to blow it, but if it happens, hey, it happens to all of us. Does that all make sense, Aiden, about how the test works? So the pro accounts are 80-20 split. Correct. Yeah. And then the pro plus are 90-10 split. So Aiden, please stop trading CFDs of cryptos. Goodness. Matt, good question, Matt. So Matt brings up, so the way the prop firm works, and so right now there's this 30% off if you use code Clay, and there's another thing that code Clay gets you, because prop firms, and this is not unique to Take Profit Trader, but all the prop firms do it in some way or another. But after you do pass their test or the evaluation phase or their combine, they all call it different things. But in this situation, after you pass a test, prop firms are like, okay, in order to make this jump, so this jump right here requires what they call an activation fee. So activation fee. And Take Profit Trader has a $130 activation fee in order to make that jump, in order to activate your pro account, $130. But part of code Clay, not only do you get that 30% off, but this is zero. So yeah, the promotion right now they're running, and again, if you want to support the channel and get the promotion with code Clay, it's a super good deal. So you could quite literally be all in. Your total risk for everything could be as little as the $105. And I say your risk because, again, if you fail the test, or if you go to the pro and you make a couple hundred and then you lose or whatever, but literally the only money that's coming out of your pocket is $105. That is your all-in risk. But even with the activation fee, when that is part of it, it's still okay. So you'd have $105 and then you'd have the $130. So like your all-in risk is less than $250. It's like that's still dirt cheap compared to just how much money people can lose in the blink of an eye in futures. If like I said, if you've never traded futures, I don't think you appreciate all this as much as you can. But once you get into futures and you realize how fast and smooth they move, because again, you can make a ton of money in a hurry. But that's also a two-sided coin, because if you bad mistakes will hurt you, because you can also lose a bunch of money very quickly, which is why the risk protection is so important with futures. But ultimately, if when you get stuck in one of those bad moves against you, or you don't honor stop loss, we've all been there. Still, yes, the consequence for you may be you lose your account, but as far as your pocketbook consequence, it would be in this situation 105, or the 50K, it would be 119. So good. Thank you for that question, Matt. That's always a good question to ask. But yes, right now, code Clay, $0 activation fee, which makes it, like I said, a really good deal. I thank you. I understand. Thank you for the help, Clay. You're what, Aiden? Go get signed up. You're done with that other stuff. And I know you're in a different time zone, but futures are basically open around the clock, so you'll be able to find a time. Yeah, they had yeah, 2 days ago. Yeah. So that put you, I was just explaining to Mike that they had an internal glitch just with their software that caused problems for this. New accounts and then resets. So they're working through it. But if it's not taken care of by end of day Tuesday, Sky Heaven, swing by the live stream again, let me know, and I'll reach out to my person on your behalf and be like, hey, this person's been waiting now 3 days. But I would assume that they are probably working the weekend to get caught up from the backlog that they created for themselves. Sounds good, Matt. Yeah, and hopefully you remember and use code Clay to support the channel. It would be much appreciated. What are those gaps in your charts? Can those mess with trend lines? Or I don't know. Hex is king. You're the guy that's the self-proclaimed like millionaire of whatever. How do you not know the answer to that? Come on, Hex. For those of you that are new, Hex has shown it many times. He's like told us all how much money he makes, and yet now he's asking what I would think somebody that makes as much money as Hex makes. I would think you would know the answer to that sort of stuff. Come on, Hex. You should be on here teaching me all this stuff. Can you give me an idea how to use different time frames in the chart properly? I mean, I can, Paul, but that would be outside of the scope of this. I'm pretty sure I've told you about my program before, so you don't seem too keen on wanting to do that, which, your prerogative. But yeah, that's actually, a great question. Hey, how do you use multiple time frames? Very, very good question, because multiple time frame trading is certainly required. But yeah, that's a little bit outside of the scope of anything that could be done on in this context. Just scrolling up. Again, if you have a request for a stock chart, a futures chart, a crypto chart, a forex chart, let me know. And we had GME. That's why we're looking at GME right now. Somebody. I'm just going back in the chat. I don't want to make sure I missed anybody. ES. All right. I don't think my platform has whatever that is. DAI, USD. Hex, dude, you should be. I already gave you the speech a long time ago. Why you continue to trade and spend your time day trading that nonsense garbage is beyond me. Like, I've mathematically proven to you how what you're doing is inefficient, yet you continue to do it. So at some point, you just got to be like, all right, that person's not actually serious. I am defining serious as somebody that wants to operate as efficiently as possible. So by that definition, I can't consider you serious. Like I've already told you Pam's plant and how Pam, again, and what I like about Pam's plant, this right here, the argument and the strategy, is it's not like me making this some emotional argument. Like literally everything here can be backed up with math. Like it's just math. And the nice thing about math is the core of logic, and logic is the core of, well, just structure of what makes sense, right? Think about it. How do we say whether or not something makes sense? Well, is there any logic behind it? So when I say that what Hex is doing is irrational, it doesn't make any sense, I don't mean that at all from like an emotional, like kind of cliche saying. I mean in a very literal saying, what you're doing makes no sense. There are better mathematical ways to go about it. But some people, like I said, they're just not serious. And, like I said, and this is coming from somebody that used to day trade stocks and options for a long time, and that's why I have to just I have to concede. I was being a donkey. I was being stupid because I still am kind of. I think that's why I don't want to say upset at people, but I get passionate about it because when I see myself and other people like, don't be like me, don't wait as long. Like futures are just so much better, and as I was told from several people and heard over the years, hey, if you survive long enough as a day trader, you're eventually going to end up in futures. And I did. That's true. And it makes total sense because futures, they're just better. They're just better. All right. Take on ES. No, you're not. You're not. because intelligent people understand the basic math that I've done. But the fact that you continue to day trade crypto just tells me all I need to do, all I need to know. All right. Well, okay. I'm gonna go through this quickly because I already covered it with QQQ earlier on. Superfly just passed my first. Hey, congratulations, Superfly. Would you recommend the 4-hour, 60-minute, 50-minute to swing trade the indices? Yeah. You got to ultimately figure out, Michael, what's gonna best suit your needs. But seeing those time frames, I'd say you're within the vicinity of reason. Again, is that going to be your fine, sweet spot? Maybe not. Maybe the 15-minute becomes a 10-minute. Maybe the 15-minute becomes a 30-minute. But maybe you have it right there. But I would definitely say, Michael, you're within the general vicinity. Yeah, crypto futures. Goodness. See, you continue to prove where I just can't do it. I can't do it. You could, that's the epitome of working harder, not smarter. Or why don't you just trade, the USA NASDAQ or the USA S&P 500, like the most massive markets in the world. Or why not just do that? Why? Why go choose some little, I don't know, some little hole in the wall thing? But Bitcoin, no. Bitcoin is nothing compared to, look at the volume. Look at the dollar volume on U.S. indices, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones. Again, I'm not saying that Bitcoin's not big. Bitcoin has become big. Some cryptos are big. They're just not nearly as big as those markets. So from a day trader standpoint, why would we not trade the biggest things? Because the biggest things, by definition, have a lot of volume. And a lot of volume means we get smoother action. We get reliable patterns. We get good movement. So to choose to not put yourself in the best environment possible is a choice to be inefficient. And somebody that is choosing to willingly be inefficient is just not serious. And that's why I'm trying to educate people here. Because some people, and in their defense, I had no idea. Fair enough. That's why I'm doing the live stream. I'm doing it for you. But people like Hex who know, and yet they still choose to go and do things inefficiently, you're just not serious. I don't care that crypto is futures. Who cares? Don't you want to go to the smoothest moving markets? What is the website for future trading? Well, the one I'm using and I recommend is you may also be asking about the platform, but it's kind of like, hey Clay, what platform are you using? What broker? It's twofold. Step one would be you need the prop firm. So if you want the prop firm that I'm using, recommend, the website's up there. In order to get the discount, 30% off and then $0 activation fee, code Clay. But step one would be you select your purchasing power. And then during the checkout process, they're going to ask you, okay, well, what platform would you like to use? The one that I use in my live streams. So not the chart software that you see right now. But during my live streams, if you've been there during the week, I use Tradeovate. Now, the key thing here is you do not need to go to Tradeovate and set up a separate account. All you do, the prop firm handles that for you. So you sign up for the prop firm will go create your Tradeovate account for you, and then they will send you that login information. And then you go to Tradeovate and you log right in and you can get right to it. So the software that's being used is technically Tradeovate, but from what I'm doing in order to implement Pam's plant, you've got to first sign up with a prop firm and then choose Tradeovate for them to go create your account. Drew Down. Hey, have you received my email? Yep. Drew Down. Okay. I got it. I see it's pretty big right now, but I'll read it. I did get an email from you, but looking at it now, I'm not going to be able to go through that right now, but I'll get to it. But yes, confirmed, I got it. Hey, Casey. Good morning. Good to see you. Is the same with NinjaTrader prop firm sets up the account? Yes. Yep. Guitars and Adam, correct. Okay, so back here to the ES. That's what I think somebody recommended. Do you all live trade in your community? Well, I don't know what you mean by live trade, but like, Like, are people like sharing their screens and showing what's going on? No. But are people like posting images, making alerts? Hey, I'm looking at this. Hey, I'm looking at that. Yes, there's like that. But no, it's not like everybody is like actively sharing their screens or anything like that, which would be way overwhelming. Like, as a trader, this is how you know if you got to figure it out. If you can be like, if you can just look at an image real quick and be like, agree or disagree, or that's my style or it's not my style, you're in a good spot. But if you need to absolutely sit there and watch every little thing, I'm not saying that's what you need to do, Kev. I'm just saying a lot of people somehow think that like it's just a mile marker test. But when you're to the point where you could look at an image with a couple lines on it and be like, yeah, that I like it because it fits my strategy, or I disagree with it, or okay, I see what that person's saying, but that's not what I'm looking to do, therefore move on. That tells me you're thinking for yourself. It tells me you have a good understanding. It tells me you have a strategy and all that. So that's just my way of saying I think all that stuff is kind of unnecessary for a community to like have all the live stuff. It's like, no, you should just be able to like, you should be to the point where a quick picture or even just text, not even a picture, should be just fine. Crypto is attractive for those dreaming of getting rich quick, for gamblers. Well, I mean, if you want to gamble, then go. I mean, even if I concede, like, well, people just show up for crypto because I want to gamble. Okay, well, people looking to gamble want to have the most fun. And even from that standpoint, if you want to have the most fun, go trade futures because of this reason right here. If you are just like Clay, I'm not here to be serious. I'm here to save myself a plane ticket to Las Vegas. I'm here to gamble. I'm here to be a degen. I just want as much fun as possible. Okay, even if I concede all that, futures, because of this reason right here. And I would still say Pam's plant because you'll get more chances to gamble because you can make your money go further, because when you screw up, you know, it's not costing you as much. I mean, if you're a degenerate and you're owning $1,000, well, you could lose that $1,000, boom, just like that. But at least within a prop firm, you can give yourself several opportunities to maybe go on a run and get yourself some payouts. But yeah, even that, it's like, I mean, I'm not advocating any of that, but I'm saying even if in that category of, I'm not here to be serious, I'm here to gamble, I want to be a degen. Well, okay, well, let's make things as fun as possible for yourself then, right? That's why you're gambling, to have fun, correct? Correct. Would you like to have as much fun as possible? Yes, I want to be efficient in my fun, in my gambling. Okay, well, then trade futures through a prop firm because they move. You'll have fun. You're going to get wrecked because you're a degenerate. But again, for you, that's okay. You understand this. You're acknowledging it. You're just here to have fun. So yeah, even if you want to have max fun, yeah, trade with a prop firm. Trade with a prop firm, brother. Definitely need your own plan. Can't rely. Yeah, exactly. Rely on others. Like, again, I think communities are great. They're beneficial because, I only have two eyes. I can only look at so much. But if I look at it, I'm like, oh, hey, thanks. Yeah, that looks good. Like, I am relying on them just in the sense of they help bring something to my attention. But it's not like I'm like, okay, can you tell me where to buy, sell? Can you tell me all? No, it's just like, oh, I missed that. Good eye. And then then your brain takes over and yes. So it is okay to rely on people as long as rely on somebody else is not being defined as, hey, I don't want to think for myself. Can you just like spoon feed me every crumb? Yeah, CKC, but the problem with that is, again, as some might call me a cheapskate, I would call myself cash efficient. But as a cash efficient person, why? Going to the casino, you have to get dressed. You have to pay money for gas to get there. If you live far away from casino, how far are you driving? How much gas are you spending? Are you literally going to spend money on a plane ticket when you could just sit at home in your underwear and eat Cheetos and do it? I don't know. If you want to gamble, all I ask for those people is don't go tell your friends that you're a trader. Just tell them I'm using the markets to gamble because I'm a gambler. But too many gamblers call themselves traders, and then when I try to tell people you're a trader, they're like, oh, Didn't you know that's gambling? It's just like, oh, brother. So that's the only thing I say is if you're going to be a gambler, fine. But just tell friends and family that you are using the markets to gamble because you are a gambler. I'm a degen. I blew up my first. No. Like I said, blowing up prop firms is part of it. What does a trading edge means? It means you have an advantage. So here, a coin flip. Is there an edge in a coin flip, Michael? Or I guess same answer to question to anybody else. Hey, as a reminder, if you're enjoying, let's at least get this up to 50 likes. Only need 9 more. 10 more. Somebody just, I offended somebody and they just took off their like. Again, coin flip. Is there an edge there, Michael? Will you ever live stream your private community? I'm not sure. Oh, like, will I ever have live stream within my community? Oh, exactly. Okay, what happened? Is there an edge here? 50.5% of happening versus 49.5% of not happening. Is there an edge there? I'm frugal, so I don't drink, gamble, or have fun doing anything. I'm almost... Well, Casey, just in the event that you were to put yourself in somebody's shoes that wanted to gamble, I mean, I would argue Pam's plan still makes it pretty efficient, even for the gambler that is simply seeking fun. Okay, I'll answer it for Michael. I know there's a delay here, but so we got to keep moving. But yeah, now there is an edge. Yeah, the edge is, so all an edge is does it seem as though you have probabilities in your favor? For me, if I'm looking at a situation and it seems like a coin flip, I mean, the obvious one is, okay, I don't think I have any, I don't think this would look terrible for this strategy. But even if I'm at the point where I'm like, it feels like a coin flip, seems like it could kind of do either thing. Well, I'm not taking that trade either because, like I said, and like you observed, a coin flip, there is no edge. But if you look at a situation and say, you know, that seems plausible, that seems likely, that seems reasonable to happen, well then now you have an edge. And the more edges you can give, the more reasons you can give yourself. I lost my cursor. Oh, there it is. There it is right there. The more reasons you can give yourself, that is what an edge actually is. But yes, we got to look at ES here because that is a good question. So ES, talked about this level last week on the Saturday morning coffee. This 58, let's just call it 45, and how the price had broken up above it. And the question this week was just, all right, are we going to get some more follow through? Is this big, kind of, because when you stop and think about it, last week was quite the grind, right? Well, when I say 2 weeks ago now, I guess. But, I mean, it started off with this big move, and then it was grinding. And then this week started, and it was like, all right, is it going to continue? And it did not. It did pull back here. Now, has that destroyed the chart? No, because in all actuality, you could say, well, yeah, Clay, it's pulled back, but what was happening before the pullback? Well, the price was right here, and it's made that move up. So right now, you would say, or you could say, to which I'd agree with, we're looking at a bull flag pattern. That's more than fair. Now, this is all about perspective. I mean, if there was some sort of like swing trader or something that, bought right there, or, a day trader that bought right there and was looking to buy and sell within, 10 minutes, from that angle, that chart's really looking really bad for them. But just for the overall kind of situation, you still got to say the overall chart is bullish. As we're just looking at a pullback right now, back inside of that former resistance area. So it broke, it continued to separate, but with the late day pullback, it's now pushed us back down below that area. So ES, I'm kind of unsure, really, and same with NQ. Oh, I did not notice that about the NQ. All right, interesting. So the NQ, the biggest difference here is it's maintained its breakout, even with the pullback, right? Yeah, ES. What was that? ES, there we go. Yeah, ES did not maintain it. Oh, that's all right. All right. So tech clearly is doing better than the overall markets right now because ES has fallen back below that key breakout point and back below the pink line there, which is hard to see, that 200-day simple moving average. But as we're just noticing now on NQ, it actually bounced beautifully. Power of charts, beautifully right off of that pink line on the daily, which is that 200-day simple moving average. So that would, moving into the next week right there, let's just call it 27 or 20,750. That would be a key level that I'd watch on. And yeah, wouldn't you know it? That's right where it basically bounced off of. So yeah, I would say this is going to be an interesting area next week, 20,750, because that represents the pink line. So okay, to be fair, for you sticklers, well, technically speaking, Clay, it did drop. Okay, you're right. It did not bounce directly off it, but can we agree? It bounced very much so off the general vicinity of it. And then, came back down there and basically bounced off it right again. So yes, if this current downwards move here on the 30-minute continues, then yeah, in my mind, and I'll be questioning this, do we get some sort of double bottom here? I mean, there have been buyers here before. So the question becomes, if it comes down there again, are these buyers still here? That's the question. Nothing complicated. You can observe that there were buyers right here. But nobody knows for sure because nothing, nobody knows the future. There's no guarantees. So nobody knows, are there still buyers here? But is it at least plausible? Could somebody accuse you of, well, that was a random decision. Why would you buy right there? That was totally random. Well, no, it wasn't random. There were buyers here before, so I thought maybe there's still buyers here again. So, you could buy and you put a stop loss right there. And if there's still buyers and you get the double bottom, you could be looking at a really nice trade. If not, yeah, you'll have a small little loss-controlled losing trade. But nobody could accuse you of being a degenerate gambler just doing random things because there would, be a thought process behind it. So, and remember, not to mention, not only would 750 make sense on the 30-minute because of these lows, going back to the daily. I mean, if anybody's ever going to accuse you of, well, that was a degenerate move to buy at the 200-day simple moving average. You just call me a degenerate gambler for buying at the 200-day simple moving average? Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. The 200-day simple moving average is like, that's just a linchpin. Like, everybody uses the 200-period moving average. If you don't use it, I'd highly recommend experimenting with it because so many people use it that you get all sorts of self-fulfilling prophecies. Like, it's not shocking at all to see that the price, after this kind of pretty big drop on Friday, just happened to bounce right off that pink line. That's not necessarily a coincidence. You can call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, but I mean, it happened. I'm sorry. How do we act out? Somebody asked about the ES, and I'm talking about the NQ. So yes, NQ or ES looking a little bit shakier now with the pullback. Yeah, Paul, you always need to worry about your drawdown. Because to not worry about your drawdown means that the risk control rules disappear. No. Prop firms want you managing risk, Paul. So yes, your drawdown always matters because that's part of the risk control rules. Now you can increase the amount you're allowed to lose. Once you go over buffers, then yeah, it might turn into a situation where originally you were only allowed to lose 2,000, but it could turn into a situation in theory eventually where now you could lose 10,000 and you'd still be okay. But yes, the drawdown does always matter. Now, how much it matters is, that amount is going to fluctuate when you get into your pro account and start making money. Maybe it doesn't matter as much because, again, I'm taking this the extreme, but if you build up the drawdown to the point where you could lose $100,000 on a trade, I mean, it still matters, but you're not really going to be you wouldn't necessarily care about a trade where you lose 10,000, right? But when you're first getting started, a $10,000 losing trade, I mean, yeah, a challenge is over. Like, you've lost your account. You violated the rules. All right, so yes, ES, again, not looking terrible, but not looking nearly as good as the NQ on the pullback. Let's drop down to the hourly. Okay, so right here we had the... well, let's go. What was going on here? Oh, yeah. So this was a support. Price fell back below it. Supports tend to act as resistance, and then that's what we see right here. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. You have watched me. I've not touched that red line. But here we have the power of charts. Nasty move down, came back up. Oh, what a coincidence, right where it got rejected before pulling back. Now, what makes this a little bit interesting, and I think you kind of got a little bit of a bull pattern right here. but it's occurring in this downwards downtrend, and calling something a downwards downtrend. I think that was a bit repetitive on my part. I don't think I needed to say all that. But anyways, point here being is I'd also keep an eye on this as a main area of resistance. Last time the price got up there, got smacked right back down. So yes, this is a bullish pattern, but it is a bullish pattern happening within a bearish downtrend. So I don't think, it's not a very bold call of mine to say I could very well see this thing breaking to the downside and this bullish pattern failing. Again, that's not some sort of bold call. Oh, wow, Clay, you said that a bullish pattern would fail because this pattern was in an overall downtrend. Shocking that something within an overall downtrend would continue down. Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not a bold call. But oftentimes people see bullish patterns in downtrends. You're like, all right, here we go. And it's like, wait a second. We can agree it's bullish to an extent, but don't get too excited about it because it is still something happening in an overall downtrend. Hey, TJP. But, and then the 30-minute, let's see if there's anything else going on. Okay, so the 30-minute, you can see right here, the 50 period was, one of the influencing factors to just flat out rejecting the price back down. Again, I'm taking requests for stocks, crypto, Forex, futures, questions about trading, questions of, life. I like talking about personal finances, real estate. I guess we could talk politics, but it would have to be just down the line and more so have to be in the economic realm of things. Because some topics, I don't think you can really take it bottom of the line. But you can't take economics or middle of the road, right? I can say I despise politicians because politicians spend too much money, right? I think that's a middle of the road comment that we can all agree on. I think it would be, I would disagree because it's not a whole lot of money to begin with. Like if I was charging you $100 a month or, some of these prices I've seen, $200 a month, well, I hear you. But I mean, it's $99 for 3 months or even cheaper, $200 for the year. So if you do $99 for 3 months, if you break that down, I think it's like $8.25 per week. So, but I appreciate the feedback. I'll have to read your email, though. I don't know. I don't know your context. Maybe you're coming at it, but I don't know really where you stand, Drew. But like I said, I'd want to say if you've gone through my program, if you've gone through the mentorship, then the chat room, the private community is certainly more than enough. It's more than enough. But if you don't really know what you're doing and you want to kind of, again, I don't know if this is you or not, Drew, but if you like, you got to follow somebody tit for tat, then that would just tell me you got some more learning to do. Do you have any formal education in finance? I don't know. Define finance. Like personal finance? Yes, I offer. There's a site. I do offer this right here. I really never talk about this one, but I have Slab Money Method. That's personal finances. I have my real estate course right there. And my investing strategy. So yes, but I don't know if that's what you mean by finance. If you mean no, I mean finance, like teach me how to read cash flow statements and balance sheets and all that sort of stuff, then no, I don't. What do I think of? Do you ever trade in inverse stocks? No, Matt, I don't. Well, to be fair to you, you didn't ask me if I day traded, but no, I don't. I only day trade, Matt, and I used to day trade stocks and options, but then it took me longer than it should have. But yeah, day trading stocks and options. Again, not Matt, or excuse me, Mutt mentor. But yeah, I no longer day trade stocks or options. It's inefficient, especially options. Wow, day trading options is like truly the worst thing you could do. Mathematically speaking, it makes no sense. But Clay, I make money. That's great, you make money. I'm telling you, there's a better thing you could choose, and you'd make probably even more money. Well, not probably. You would make more money because the difference would just imply you'd make more money. So you are a real estate broker? No. I'm a real estate investor, but not a real estate broker. like a broker has a license and all this sort of stuff. But I do invest in real estate. OKLO. Yeah, this one had a monster move for, yeah. So OKLO definitely had a very nice day on Friday. I would assume some sort of news. I don't know, maybe they had earnings or something, but big old volume, nice price action. From the overall standpoint, looking like up here is going to be the next key battleground area, right around the $57 mark, give or take. You can see the last time the price got up around here, it was, kind of struggling a bit. Not kind of. It did struggle because it ultimately got hammered to the downside. So that'll be kind of the next key overall area. Right up around, like I said, 57-ish, give or take a little bit. But yeah, in all actuality, once we drop down to the 30-minute, I'm sure that area right there will give us an area of resistance or somewhere right around here. From more so the pullback standpoint, key area of support that I would say, ideally you do want to see hold strong in order for this chart to look as strong as possible would be staying above 40.50, because even if the price came down here, did one of these maneuvers, from the, again, bigger picture standpoint, so assuming you care about the bigger picture, you'd have a set of lows there, lows there, lows there. You got stair steps still progressing. So let's see, 30-minute. 30 minutes got a nice pattern here. So we have the resistance. We have actually a very well-defined area of support. Wow, look at that. What, about 4 times off that area? Let's change that to green to represent support. So we have our resistance, we have our support. You got the big move up right there. You got the golf hole down here. So bull pennant pattern on the 30-minute. No, I don't get into all that, Tony, because as I've said from the get-go, the point of my live stream is not to prove that I'm a good trader. In fact, I just concede. Like the point of the prop or the point of the live stream is to promote this. What I would argue is the best day trading strategy out there. So that's the point of the live stream, is I want to promote this. But what's nice about what I do is, just for example's sake, I'll just concede I'm a terrible trader. I don't make any money. I'm a scammer. I'm a scumbag. Like anything negative, let's just assume that's true about me, Tony. What does that have to do with this idea? It doesn't. And unless you can prove that this idea is bad, which I'd love to hear. But like, even if I just concede everything negative about me, then that would still just be somebody that's a terrible trader is giving a good idea. Or like somebody that is a scammer is giving a good idea. Or somebody that, kicks puppies. Somebody that, steals candy from a kid is presenting a good idea. Because I'm not here. I don't care what you think about me as a trader. And I'm not saying, Tony, I know you're just asking, but I'm just giving kind of the purpose of the live stream. My purpose is not look at me, look at me, look at me. It's no, let's look at Pam's plant. Now, to be fair, it is a great idea. It's a very good idea. It's undefeated. Nobody has been able to tell me how that's a bad idea. And yes, if you use code Clay, then I'll put a couple shekels in my pocket. But I think it's pretty cool that I can promote a genuinely good idea. And if I can make a few bucks, if I can turn it into an income stream, that's a good thing. But again, if that rubs you the wrong way, then again, and when I say you, I just mean anybody. If that rubs anybody the wrong way, then their position would be, hey, somebody's making money from promoting a good idea. But we can agree that the idea is good. Yes, we can agree the idea is good, but you're making money from it. Yes, so somebody is making money from promoting a good idea. Yes, that makes that person bad, okay? So a bad person is promoting a good idea. Yes, it's a good idea, but they're bad. Okay, well, I'm here for the idea. Here for the idea. Again, Tony, probably more of what you're looking at, but no. But you'll see my profits, you'll see my losses. You can see me trade on the live stream. In fact, yesterday, Friday, I talked about how I blew up an account. So, I'll show that sort of stuff. But the ultimate core of the goal is not for you to think I'm a great. Because then now if I was here trying to sell the course and all this sort of stuff, then okay, but I'm not. The only time I ever talk about my course or mentorship is if people either ask or they're just asking so many questions that it's like, all right, let me just give you this link and you can do with it what you will. But yeah, as far as the live stream is concerned, I'll just concede for argument's sake of Pam's plant. I'm a terrible trader. What does that have to do with Pam's plant? How does that make Pam's plant a bad idea? Let's talk about Pam's plant. And you could say, well, but if you're a bad trader, then you wouldn't know what a good idea is. So therefore, Pam's plan is probably a bad idea because you're a bad trader. Okay, fair enough. Then let's talk about the idea. What about Pam's plant is bad? So once, I think they should teach logical fallacies in high school. Maybe they do if you sign up for like debate class. But logical fallacies wreck conversation. They wreck conversation because if you come at me, that's committing the ad hominem fallacy. You're coming at the person making the argument, presenting the idea, but you're not addressing the idea, you're addressing the person. So that's why I say, well, yeah, but if a bad trader is saying something's a good idea, it could very well be a bad idea. I agree. So let's talk about the idea. Show me how, if I just concede I'm a bad trader, I'm now presenting a bad idea. Wait. Drew down. You're Andrew. Oh, yeah, I know, man. I know. Okay. That's right. I forgot you changed your name. So now you email me. Dude, you even change your email address? Dude, no, we've been on here so many times. You supposedly were gonna join the community so many times, and you never do, dude. Like I hope you can be just understand where I'm coming from with my pure exhaustion of being told one thing to never have it happen. So I hope you can hear where I'm coming from in that regard. Yes, and we used to do T-shirts, and my kids made some money that way. But it's a hassle. I had T-shirts sit in my office for like a year and a half. We got through them all, but yeah. So again, Drew, let's just. I think my point is showing P&L from your prop firm trader would support your. Well, no. Because I could show you, I could show you profit and losses, and it's just like, okay, well, yeah, but that was just pure and utter luck. Like, no, I don't think that proves anything. Just like if somebody proves that, like, well, look at my P&L. I don't make any money. I lose money. Therefore, that's a bad idea. It's like, is it a bad idea, or were you just behaving like a degenerate? So no, I would disagree with that, Tony. Now, again, fallacy-wise, sure, that would be a logical fallacy. Just like it'd be a logical fallacy to show my losses and say, because I have losses, therefore this is a bad idea. Do you see the logical fallacy there? Do you see that, Tony? So you, in and of itself, inadvertently, that's what I mean. I wish they would teach logical fallacies in school because you just committed one. Because if I take the inverse of what you just said, Tony, I think you would agree. Wait, no, in a second. Just because you show your results of losing money does not mean that what you just presented is a bad idea. Like, because there's the possibility that, well, maybe you just, were a moron. I mean, maybe, Tony, the prop firm paid me off. Maybe the gains I show are from the prop firm. Because they want it to look like a good idea. No, all that stuff is exterior. Just how is it a bad idea? So I do agree. It would support the thesis, but that would be committing a logical fallacy in order to market it. I know, Drew, but you've sent me so many of these emails over the past couple months, and then nothing ever changes. Again, I hope you can understand my pure exhaustion. Is the market replay on Trader Vape free? I don't know. I do not. Do you know? I guess to answer your question, I do not know. I'm addressing the idea that if the reality of trading the prop firm statistically does not yield a positive result, the thesis is broken. Let's say, no. What? No. Then don't trade. See, this is. No, Tony. Then you better not be trading, Tony. Because you know the vast majority of people fail at trading? Do you know that? The vast majority? Does that mean it's impossible? No. Does it mean that it's hard? Yes. People not making money has nothing to do with a prop firm. People not making money has to do with trading is hard. Again, another logical fallacy. You are blaming prop firms for people not making money when that's just a false blame. People don't make money because trading is hard. In fact, now Tony's brought up a good point. See, this is what happens with Pam's Plant. Tony thought that they were making an argument against Pam's Plant because, well, yeah, but if most people fail with prop firms, you shouldn't use prop firms. Yeah, a lot of people fail with prop firms. I'm not denying that at all. But not because of the prop firm, but because trading is hard. Trading is hard, but here's the difference with a prop firm. So I'll just use Tony. So Tony goes, and let's just say Tony has $1,000 or $1,500. I don't know. So Tony's got a couple choices. Tony can hop into futures with and use. I'm sorry. Are you a guy or a girl? Okay, yeah. Then statistically, trading is not a good idea. Do not trade then. That it might be as simple as that for you, Tony. Like if you want something that that tells you have a 51% chance, then avoid trading. So maybe that would be it for you, Tony. Maybe your day trading ends right here. Your day trading attempts ends right here. Because I will tell you right now, whether or not you're in a prop firm or not in a prop firm, you do not have a 51% chance of finding success. So right there, Tony, it sounds like your journey ends. Because again, Tony, if you're not trading in a prop firm, you're actually at an even bigger statistical disadvantage. So let me explain how Tony is at a bigger, statistical disadvantage. So Tony's got, I wish I knew, I'm going to assume you're a guy. I'm sorry if you're a girl. I know people spell their names differently. But so Tony, he's going to take $1,500 and he's got two choices. Do I just use that and trade futures straight up? Or do I use that and then hop into a prop firm? So let's say he goes and hops into a prop firm. Or uses his own money. Well, okay. And then let's do this. So those are the two choices. Either he uses his own money or he goes into a prop firm. Now, all traders that are honest are going to be like, yeah, hey, I have bad days. I've had bad days. Bad days happen. The goal of trading is let's just make sure these bad days have as much space between them as possible. But the point is, bad days happen, whether it's because mistakes, you get caught in a bad move, maybe you get stubborn, maybe you break a rule, all those things. But a bad day happens, okay? So that's what we're operating in. A bad day happens. Now, we have a couple different situations within this bad day happening. Situation one, Tony's like, I'm going to take $1,500 and I'm using that, no prop firm. Well, a bad day in the world of futures, and really anything, it doesn't necessarily have to be futures, but Tony. That showed that a prop firm account trading futures yields great. Okay, yeah, Tony. Okay, Tony's one of these people that doesn't want to listen, I guess. Okay, so anyways, there are other people out here that I'm assuming do want to listen. Tony continues to prove the point. And Tony, like I said, you're also proving the point. I really wish they would teach logical fallacies. You continue to use them. Anyways, Tony's not going to listen, but I'm still going to use Tony. So Tony's, basically arguing, hey, and by the way, I'm going to show you how it's got a better chance. 1,500, you're trading Microsoft only. No, Mike. No, here we are. Okay. So Tony's like, all right, I'm going to use 1,500 of my money in futures. Now I have a funded future account with TBT and I'm working 2 more evals. I love it. Hey, Micah, look at this. Another convert right there. So this is how, just statistically speaking, you're going to have a better chance. Like, if you don't understand how this doesn't give you a better chance, I'm not quite sure how else I could explain it. But again, if you've ever traded futures, you know that they can move and they can move very, very quickly. So given the context of a bad day, well, a bad day in futures, and again, anybody that's traded them knows I'm not exaggerating. A bad day could be $1,500, boom. Could be $1,500 loss. If I knew how to type. So $1,500 loss. So in this situation for Tony's journey is over. Their trading journey is done. Okay? Because they chose to use their own money. They had $1,500. They had the bad day. Their journey is over. But now let's look at the others. Let's say Tony was like, no, I'm gonna go Pam's Plant. So I'm gonna do futures, but I'm gonna do the plant part too. I'm gonna do prop firms. So we can use, again, everything is backed up with math here. I talk Pam's plant and I say it's powerful because it can be backed up with math. So we got to use some math. So here, and let's just say Tony's like, all right, well, I'm going to go with the 25K in purchasing power. And right here, you can see that would cost me 105. All right, well, so I got to subtract out 105. Okay, so Tony still has $1,395 in his wallet. He then go again, same thing, same context, bad day, same exact trade, same everything. Therefore, $1,500 loss. Now, $1,500 loss within the context of a prop firm means he's failed the test. They will take his account away from him. But how much did he actually lose out of his pocket? Was it the $1,500 like it would have been when he's using his own money? No, it's not. It was $105. How so? Well, because that was the only money he spent. He only spent $105 to get the account. So with a prop firm, they'll let you try again. And when you try again, that's only $100. So he's like, okay, well, yeah, let me give it another try. So let's subtract out 100. Now notice, his journey is still continuing. Tony, the Tony that chose to use $1,500 of his own money, his journey ended. But here, this Tony with the Pam's plant and the prop firm, you see the journey's still going. But you know what? FOMO got him. So, all right, blew up that account. Okay, he wants to try again though, so let's minus 100. He's doing some, oh no, bad day, started revenge trading, broke some rules. All right, so there's another $1,500 gone. Again, $1,500 is important because that's what would cause you to fail the test. But he didn't actually lose the $1,500, but he wants to try again, so he goes 100. I don't know, then he forces a trade, breaks some rules, so there's another blown account, minus 100. He does something else stupid, minus 100. I don't know, he buys the top because he thought it was I don't know, but minus 100. And then here, he was actually behaving well, but because futures can move, sometimes there's just ba-boom. Okay, here's one. He forgot about news. There is news release coming. He forgot about it, and then he got stuck in just a crazy spike, so there's minus 100. Then he does something else stupid, minus 100. Does some more stupid stuff, minus 100. And then, you know what? After all this, and within all this, he's learning. He's fine-tuning. He's learning about his emotions. So he is learning through all this. But then he goes on a groove. Boom. He goes on a streak. He passes the test. He gets into the pro account. And then he makes $1,500 before, again, he blows up the account. But he made $1,500, meaning he requested $1,500 be sent to him from the prop firm. So we have to add in $1,500. So looky there. After all that failure, all those mistakes, all this, that, and the other, he's actually still up. We got to subtract out $1,500 because that's what he started with. He's up $495. So let me be very, very clear. And am I saying in any way that prop firms guarantee you will have success? Absolutely not, because trading is hard. Trading is very hard. My claim is that prop firms give you more opportunity. They give you more chances. They allow you to survive longer. Again, just because those things are true does not mean that you'll ever find success. That's not what I'm saying. I am just saying that statistically speaking, if you have more than one trade, then you're going to have better odds to figure stuff out. Whereas, Tony, in that one situation, maybe get 1, 2, 3 trades if you're using your own money. Because, again, futures move, and they can move really bad. But your journey can end very quickly if you're using your own money. But with a prop firm, you can extend your journey out. And the longer your journey can be extended out, the more probability, the more chances, the more opportunity you have to figure things out. Doesn't make it a guarantee, but it does give you higher probabilities. Just by definition, you're going to have more chances. So Tony, like I said, you're making the argument for me. Yes, prop firms give you a higher probability because they give you more opportunity. Does that make sense, everybody? Give me a 1 if that makes sense. Tony's not here to listen. Tony's here to just try to win an argument. But does what I just say, does that make sense about how, of course you're at 2, Tony, because some people don't like being exposed as wrong. But look at that. Sorry. The cascade of ones tells you that you're wrong, Tony. And when you have that many people being like, well, yeah, because that's not a hard argument, right? The more opportunity you have to do something, the higher the odds are that you can find success at that thing. Again, nowhere am I saying it's guaranteed, but just by definition, the more opportunity, the better. Your argument supposes that there is no risk management involved by a day trader. Again, I'll grant that. My argument supposes that there's no risk management. Okay. So if there's no risk management, all right, okay. So Tony, let me ask you this. Do you ever break rules? Do you ever have bad days where you break a rule, maybe you FOMO, maybe do something wrong? Or are you telling me that you always flawlessly follow your risk management rules? So you have risk management, fine. Are you telling me that you always follow that risk management system perfectly? Like you never make mistakes? Is that your claim? Are you a flawless trader that always follows your risk management perfectly? Like you never have a bad day. A bad day is a day where it's defined as, yeah, you know what? I broke rules. I didn't manage risk. That's like what creates bad days. That is a lack of discipline. Okay, Tony, I'm asking you very specifically. Are you telling me that you never have a lack of discipline? Are you telling me that you're always 100% disciplined? Is this your claim? That you are always 100% disciplined? Because I do agree everything you're saying right now is true, but you have a presupposition that is not in reality. We'll see, Shuri. We'll see. We'll see how honest Tony is. I would agree with you, Shuri. And I've never met a 100% disciplined trader, but I don't know. Maybe Tony's the first ever 100% disciplined trader that 100% never breaks any rules. We might have a first. I'm not sure what you're saying, Greatest Nothing. For me, I feel like the prop form evaluation. Oh, yeah, exactly, Micah. That's one of the arguments here of Pam's plant right here about added risk control. And I know degenerates don't like the rules because people show up like, I don't know the rules. But to your point, Micah, I fully agree. Yes, the rules drive risk management. The rules hammer home. You got to manage risk. Yes, absolutely, Micah. Well said. The mere fact that Tony apparently can't give a yes or no must be they're typing up a massive answer. Maybe they see the flaws of their argument right now. Because once again, like I told you, the cool thing about Pam's plan is when you try to argue against it like Tony is, well, you're assuming that people don't have risk management rules. All right, fine. That's fair point. But now here's the problem. And I'm trying to move to this next phase, but I don't know where Tony went. So I may have to just go with the flaw in Tony's premise right now. I think some of you already see where I'm going based on the questions I'm asking Tony. Have you not had a real brokerage account before? Yeah, you tell them the maximum amount you can lose in a day, and then you don't want to be able. Well, yeah, and that's fine. Greatest nothing, but you're still losing your own money. That doesn't solve anything. I do agree. It can stop the bleeding, but it's really a question of how much bleeding do you want? I want the least amount of bleeding of my money as possible. So like, okay, I'm going to set my loss limit at, I don't know, $1,000. Well, I don't want to lose $1,000 of my own money if I don't have to. So, I mean, you're not wrong, Greatest Nothing, but that's not really, again, this is, Pam's plan is an argument of efficiency. All right, Tony is no longer interacting. So, if Tony is honest, Tony is going to say, well, no, I'm not 100% disciplined. I'm a human being. Hey, welcome to the club, Tony. Welcome to the club. I've never met a 100% disciplined trader. I've never met a trader that doesn't make mistakes. Okay. So now the problem with that is when we go and do the same situation. So my situation was just a bad day. So Tony's like, well, you're not going to have bad days if you have risk management. Well, yes, but that assumes you're presupposing that you're always going to be 100% disciplined and always going to follow your risk management. I do agree with Tony that in the magical, mystical world of theory, yes, if you have risk management as a trader, you will never have a bad day because you will always flawlessly be managing risk. That is true. But again, that's the magical, mystical world of theory. In the real world, anybody that's ever traded knows that, you know what? You're not 100% disciplined. You're not going to be 100% flawless. Therefore, there are going to be those mistakes. So on those okay, and it's not in your reality. 100% discipline is a ludicrous. The real question and promise you're asking is that you are going to blow up your. The real question. Okay, notice how Tony won't answer the question. Okay, but I'm explaining anyways. So I'm just going to assume that Tony is honest, and they say, well, they even said it. 100% discipline is a ludicrous question. Exactly, because there is no 100% discipline. You just proved my point. So Tony agrees. Via the fact that 100% is a ludicrous question, it is ludicrous because it illustrates the point. Well, of course nobody's 100% disciplined. Okay, therefore, you just admitted it is possible to have a bad day because you can't be 100% disciplined. So how much is the bad day going to cost you? We're right back to where we started, Tony. Because 100% discipline is a ludicrous question, that means bad days can happen. So if a bad day happens and you're using your own money, well, guess what? $1,500 gone just like that of your own money. A bad day happening in the prop firm results in what? Yes, it does result in you losing your account. But does you losing your account take out $1,500 from your pocket? No, it takes out $105. So once more, that $1,500, if you use your own money, could be gone just like that. But because of the nature of prop firms, you're still extending your time out. You can absorb more bad days. You can, again, in this situation, a bad day being defined as not being 100% disciplined. So you can have more days of not being 100% disciplined within a prop firm versus with your own money. Therefore, prop firms do give you more opportunity and therefore a better odds, a better chance, not a guaranteed chance, a better chance to find success. So Tony, you're not doing yourself any good here. You're not doing yourself any. Does that make sense, everybody? About how Tony was baking in, like, well, does that make sense? Give me a one if that makes sense about how even in this situation, because people are not 100% disciplined, we're all going to have bad days. So now it becomes a question of, well, how many bad days due to lack of discipline can one absorb? And given the prop firm model, you can absorb more bad days compared to if you're using your own money. Does that make sense to people? A bad day in a real account is never the account, though. I'm saying $1,500 here. Greatest nothing. At the end of the day, can you agree, greatest nothing, that a prop firm gives you more chances? All I'm saying is a $1,500 loss, whether that's Tony's entire account or not, it's still $1,500. Would you rather? What is your name? Greatest nothing. Greatest nothing. Would you rather lose $1,500 out of your pocket or 105? What would you rather lose? What's your P&L for the year? Enough to make all this worth my time. That's where your argument fails because of a discipline as a trader, risk reward being. Okay. Tony. Yeah, I tried. Thanks, Tony. Thank you for your thoughts. Again, and because of a disciplined trader, risk reward being over 2-1, and an account actually are greater than 55%. Yes, Tony, I agree with all that, but that's under the proposition that you're 100% disciplined all the time. But as you just said, no, people are not 100% disciplined all the time. Therefore, people have bad days. So it's how much is the bad day going to cost you, Tony? That's all I'm saying is, yes, I agree with you that in the magical, mystical world that you just described of 2-1 and all that sort of stuff, 55%, you can, yes, I agree. Mathematically speaking, on the spreadsheet, that is true. But when we hop off the spreadsheet into the real world, per your own admission, people are not 100% disciplined all the time. Therefore, that little system that you just described falls apart. So the point is, when that system you described falls apart because you're breaking the rules, you're not being disciplined, then it can hurt you a lot more, and it will hurt you a lot more when you're using your own money. But yes, with that, at this point, it's so, if you don't, I know I'm explaining things right because I'm seeing a ton of ones. So you're the one that's either you're just refusing to see it. So, but thank you. Thank you for your thoughts, Tony. I appreciate it. And yes, I do make money through affiliate marketing. Absolutely. I believe in many streams of income. Absolutely. So Tony, make sure you use code Clay. I know, see, at the core, Tony is one of these people that doesn't like multiple streams of income. That's ultimately where they're coming from. Wait, you make multiple streams of income? So, yes. Use code Clay, I make money. As I say here all the time. So yes, but here's a cool thing, Tony, is this is a good idea. You have not told me how, in fact, your arguments have proven how good of an idea this actually is. Even though you're trying to disprove it, the power of Pam's plan is you have proven it, how good of an idea it is. Data would be a good. No, I'm just saying that enough people have recognized what I'm explaining. Your problem, Tony, is you don't understand the distinction. See, I'm honest enough to just concede. You are right. You are right that what you said with risk management, all that stuff, true. You'll be profitable. The problem is, but you're not always going to be doing that 100% of the time. So in those moments where you don't do that, that's where things fall apart in a hurry. And any trader can tell you that. They can be doing well, and then it's just like one or two trades, 1 or 2 days that can just wreck so much. But see, you can't even, you won't acknowledge that because you're not willing to be intellectually honest, to be like, okay, that's true. I am, in all my hypotheticals, I am assuming that this risk management is being followed 100% of the time. You're not asking the question, well, what about the times where it's not followed because I'm not 100% disciplined? That's what you're not addressing. So, but you know what? Some people don't want to be intellectually honest. Again, I acknowledge your points. I've said everything is true of your part, but the fact, which again, I got you to already concede that people can't be 100%, but you're trying to talk out of both sides of your mouth. And now see, notice how Tony's attacking me now. Do you see this? I continue to attack the argument about how Tony is right in the sense of, hypothetically, if you're 100% always doing that, he's right. But Tony also admitted that, well, you're not going to do that all the time, but yet he still wants to argue as if you will do that all the time. But now he's, attacking me. Ad hominem fallacy. Notice, nobody can attack this. And, well, they can, but notice how Tony's attack failed. So now Tony's talking about me taking logic classes in college or something like that. A sign of a failed argument. Thank you, Tony, though. I appreciate the back and forth. There you go, greatest nothing. Thank you. That's all I'm saying. If we can take, again, it's an argument of efficiency. I like how you put that. Greatest nothing says it's part of the game. Yes, it takes 99% of this thing away. That sounds like an efficient move to make. If there is a way out there, in your words, greatest nothing, which I know greatest nothing already agrees with me, but if there is a way out there, which greatest nothing can take 99% of the sting away, why would you not want to do the thing that takes 99% of the sting away? Why would you not want to do that? I mean, Tony, yeah, if you want to go out on some fringe, yes, any argument can be won at some sort of super outlier fringe. So sure, does that exist hypothetically in some outlier position? Sure. But that's why they're called outliers. All right, Tony is just a total, Tony's probably been here before, but if somebody can't be intellectually honest, or if that's how they're going to try to win is if you have to use the exceptions and not just the vast general rules, then it's okay, well, Like, I suppose Tony does not. I don't know if Tony can leave the house. Because if Tony leaves the house, there's. Well, I was going to say, there's been planes that drop out of the sky. But even if you stayed in your house, a plane dropping out of your sky could still land on it. So I don't know how Tony goes about life, because if they're gonna like use like statistical anomalies to like try to prove a point, that's gonna be rough. Yeah, well, I disagree there, Greatest Nothing. I don't think there's stupid rule change it. Oh, no stupid rule change. Oh, yeah. I do agree with people are just changing rules and stuff randomly. That's fair. I didn't see the rule. I thought you just said we're saying no stupid rules. And I'd say, well, no, I think the rules are good because they promote risk management. But yes, which is why I don't promote all prop firms, because things can get a little sketchy. How did that even... All right, I don't know where Greatest Nothing. We keep it take profit trader here, so don't talk about other prop firms. I know you meant nothing malicious by it, so just as an FYI. Because again, as I said from the get go, the whole point of my live stream is to bring people from either day trading stocks or options or forex or crypto into the world of day trading futures through a prop firm, and I want that to be as smooth as possible. And a way to make that not smooth would be to throw like 8 different prop firms at them. So that's why I just take profit trader. But some of you, such as Superfly, like you just have to understand, and well done. You're the exception and not the rule. Like most people can't do what you're doing. Again, well done to you, but most people are just not in that situation. I am focused on the vast majority of people. So yeah, that's like me saying, well, okay, everybody, here's what you do. You go out, you buy farmland, you get a YouTube channel, you start a live stream, you trade, you get a prop firm. You get a rental portfolio of rental portfolio of real estate. That's how you do it. It's like, okay, well, most people aren't going to be doing that right now. Most people can't do that right now. So yes, in theory, that's how you should do it. But my point here is that I'm assuming people, this is my assumption. People show up, they don't have a lot of money. They'd like to become a day trader. They'd like to try to make something of all this. But they're like me when I got started back in 2006, a college kid. Well, I don't have $25,000. I'd like to be a day trader in stocks, but I don't have $25,000. Like, I'm so jealous that this stuff didn't exist back in 2006. That would have been amazing. But yes, Superfly, you sounds like you're doing things very well, but you're definitely not the demographic that I'm after here. But well done to you, sir, or ma'am. And again, just to be clear, Tony was not banned because he disagreed, but there does reach a point where if you're not going to be intellectually honest enough to be like, okay, I see what you're saying, which I did to Tony. I see what you're saying, but Tony was just assuming 100% credibility or 100% discipline, while at the same time arguing as if the person was going to be 100% disciplined. But undisciplined days result in bad days, just by definition, right? Baby steps, start small, learn and grow. Yes. And Superfly, do you agree that prop firms give you the most opportunity to learn and grow because you get a bigger bang for your buck? Do you agree with that too, Superfly? Because when you're new and learning, you're going to do dumb things, and I'd rather have those dumb things do minimal damage to your overall cash. Why TPT is impossible to purchase? What do you mean by impossible to purchase? Absolutely. Cool, Superfly. Yep. So I love it. I love a good disagreement. I love when people try to prove prop firms wrong. I don't even know how we got on that, but that's what I've discovered since doing the live stream is people make the arguments. Well, yeah, but if you're disciplined, all this is irrelevant. To which is true. To make the argument, if you are perfectly disciplined, then you should never do a prop firm, because if you're perfectly disciplined, well then, I mean, why would you only take 80% of your gains or 90%? Why not just keep 100%? Well, because you're not always disciplined. So the nice thing here, and the one critique is, well, Clay, I would never do a prop firm because I want 100% of my gains. With a prop firm, you only get 80%, or you only get 90%. And that is actually true. If you use your own money in futures, you do get to keep 100% of your gains. Do you also know what you get to keep 100% of? That's the question for the chat. If you use your own money, you do get to keep 100% of your gains. That is true. But you also get to keep 100% of something else. What is this something else that you also get to keep 100% of? That is, yes, correct, greatest nothing. Not exactly how I was looking for the answer, but that is true. Yes, your losses, your dignity, your risk. Oh, wait, Brian. So I might be, I don't know. Brian, is that a dig at people that use prop firms? But yes, correct. You keep. Oh, just okay. All right. I thought I was like that was either super clever or maybe I was overthinking it. I do sometimes I can overthink. But yeah, you keep 100% of your losses too. So and sometimes a prop firm is just like an insurance thing. It's like yeah, you don't get to keep all your gains, but you know what? You also don't get to keep those days that go really really bad. And yes, you could have the best system, you could have the best rules, you could have the best this, that, and the other, but unless your claim is that you're going to be 100% disciplined all the time and never go on tilt, never let the emotions get the best of you, which I think you're deceiving yourself. Now as traders, you grow and, the bad days, you want to get further and further apart, but they still happen. And when those really bad days happen, I'd rather have it just, so I don't think Nathan's here. But Nathan, one signs in, but it does not process the 50K purchase payment. Well, if you're able to sign in, then I think your account has already been created, MB. But we had Nathan here, and he had an account that he had $130, so he got the account for $130, passed the test, went into the pro, and then he made $9,700 on it before he did violate a rule. So I'm sure he went out, he had a bad day. He got undisciplined, right? Because he's not a 100% disciplined trader. So he did lose the account. But did that cost him a huge chunk of this? Like it could have if it was using his own money? No, it just cost him the account. But he still had already been paid $9,700 into his checking account. So sure, he did lose the account. But he didn't lose this number over here. No, he only lost that number. So technically, whenever 130 subtract from that is, that's ultimately what he made. So that's the whole point, is you're going to have bad days, and I'd rather have a bad day, take out just a smaller chunk of that 9,700 compared to something way bigger. So that's really the question, is once you're at that $9,700 in your account, well, if that's just in your account still and a bad day, I think Nathan, I think it was a $1,500 or $50K account. So I think his bad day that cost him because he got undisciplined was I don't remember what it was, but at the end of the day, you get more leeway. Drew Down, I've sent you that link so many times, dude. Pure exhaustion, man. This is the private community. This is this cough is doing up. Right here, man. Well, we're coming up on 2 hours. Hey, nice. We're at 75 likes. If you're perfectly disciplined and don't have a few thousand to trade futures responsibly, well, if you're perfectly disciplined. Yeah, which is like a square circle, almost, or a married bachelor. Perfectly disciplined. I think, to me, you're pretty much promoting married bachelors at that point. Do you have any experience with? No, Anto. What country are you in? I'm gonna delete that out just because I have no idea what that is, and for all I know, you might be a bot. So I'm gonna delete that out just in case. But what country are you in? Ever use the group trade feature on Tradeovate for eval and funded accounts? No. As I said earlier, the accounts that I talk about here is Take Profit Trader. There's two of them that I talk about. I get it. Other live streamers, they have like 18 different promotion codes. And hey, good for them. However they want to run their live stream, fair enough. But here, these are the two I talk about. These are the only two I want to talk about. If you are a beginner, definitely Take Profit Trader. The only reason why I haven't narrowed down to Take Profit Trader mainly is because I am assuming that the vast majority of people are new. My goal is to let people in the world of day trading stocks, options, Forex, and crypto know that there's a better way. There's a more efficient way, as has been discussed here. And for those people, Take Profit Trader, they're just very beginner friendly. A clean set of rules. And then when it gets to the payment, I think they're the best platform anyways, just because of their payment policy. Take Profit Trader, once you get into the pro account, so day number 6, you could start requesting money right away, assuming you meet the buffer and everything like that. But in theory, you could be getting paid and you can request payments every single day and in whatever amount you want to make every single day in Take Profit Trader. But I do understand that once people get into a groove and they want to start to expand their empire, thinking of, what was that, Superfly? Superfly, yes. Superfly in the chat. He's to the point now where I would not consider him a beginner prop firm trader. He sounds like he's probably an advanced prop firm trader. Good for him. But there does reach a point where, all right, I'm comfortable with prop firms. I got my bearings. Now let me look. Well, now you've moved from beginner into more of the intermediate, advanced category. And at that point, yeah, if you want to expand out, Apex is another popular one with my private community. And I don't use them, but they're definitely an intermediate advanced. My thing with Apex is if you do stuff online, you're going to hear about a lot of people calling them a scam, calling them this, that, and the other. They're not a scam. The problem is beginners to the prop firm world start off with Apex. And then Apex with all the rules and this, that, and the other, beginners don't know what's going on, and it does come across as a scam. Doesn't mean it is a scam, it comes across as a scam. And then, so that's why I say, just start smooth. Start with a clean rule book, Take Profit Trader, and then yes, when you start to, reach Superfly point, where you want to expand the prop firm empire, then yeah, you can move more into Apex Trader Funding and other ones. But that's the reason why I don't want a bunch of prop firms talked about in the room, because at the end of the day, a very quick way to make this a not smooth process is to overwhelm the beginner with 14 different prop firms to choose from. I don't want to do that. Again, I get it. Other live streams, they're talking about all sorts of prop firms. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying for the goals and the model of my stream, I just don't want all this other stuff talked about. So I don't really even talk about Apex that much because I am operating under the assumption that, like I said, most people here are in that category. So, Anto, yeah, try TPT. If you want a clean set of rules, if you want to be able to request payments whenever you want in any amount and get paid every day you want, if you want, with fast payments, hey, it's possible. So 25K is good for a beginner. Yeah, I'd say start with 25K. Again, Superfly, I'm deleting that message because I don't want a bunch of prop firms talked about, because that's just going to create overwhelmingness for people. And I'm an engineer by degree, no longer practicing, former process engineer. So I had it hammered in my head. Be efficient. Make things efficient. So from the business standpoint, if you do research, you'll notice the quickest way to overwhelm a customer or to just overwhelm anybody with anything is a bunch of choices. If you have too many options and things to choose from, people just feel overwhelmed. That's why, all right, if I'm operating on the premise that we have a new person to the world of props, I'm just going to give them what I believe to be the best prop firm for all the reasons, and then that's it. That way they have a smooth experience. They're not like, wait, this sounds great, but I'm just not going to do it anymore because I don't know which prop firm to choose because there's 8 million and all these have, just Take Profit Trader. That's where you start, brothers. That's where you start. I like these Saturday streams just because the whole theory is I'm going to talk about charts, and we talk about charts, don't get me wrong. But then I don't know. It's weird. Sergio, Webull app released its earnings report Thursday after hours with massive growth in revenue, total assets, registered users, and profit margins, and yet the price declined the next day. I know, Sergio. That's why when people come around and say they're going to trade based on news, I'm like, okay, it might work for you, but I'm pretty terrible because based on what you just described there, Sergio, I would have guessed their stock would have had a very good day, but you just said it declined the next day. Yeah. So what are the rules that we should be aware of with TPT? Sam, good question. Yeah, they allow micro scalping. Another, I'd say the biggest rule. Now they'll email you if there's news releases. They don't want you trading. They'll email you. But the biggest rule would just be the 50% consistency rule during the test phase, which is a very easy rule. So during the test phase, because again, they want to see, can you trade? They don't want you to just take one trade, YOLO, get lucky, and then say, see, I passed. They want to see some consistency. So they have the 50%. Who am I talking to again? Sam. So the 50% rule, very easy. Whatever your target is to pass. So for the 50K account, your profit target is 3,000. So 50% rule states that during the test phase, which goes for a minimum of 5 days, you're not allowed to make any more than 50% of that rule, or excuse me, of that number. So you're only allowed to make $1,500 in a day. So that would be the only rule that I would say to be very careful of. Of course, don't hold beyond the closing bell, right? You got to be in cash by the end of the day. That's why this whole argument is based in the category of day trading. So Pam's plant is not for swing traders or anything like that. It's day traders. But yeah, that's it. That would be, I think that, but here's the thing, Sam, even if you were to violate that rule, they just adjust your profit target up. So it's not like you blow up the account or they take the account away from you. They would just, the only one they're going to take the account away from you is if you violate, the risk rule right there, which is, you can't lose more than that. And I should note that for you business-minded people out there, they're like, wait a second, Clay, this all sounds so scammy. How is this a viable business model? You're telling me that you only give them $119 of your money, but they're going to let you lose $2,000 of their money? No, because the test phase, all this is happening in a simulated environment. So there's not actually $2,000 being lost. Same is true. I've had some people that are like, wait a second, what a scam. So you go make them $3,000 and then all you get is the pro account? So they keep $3,000 and then they just give you the pro account. Well, again, this is all a simulated environment, so it's not like there's actually $3,000 made either. So just keep that in mind. If you're a little leery of, wait, I don't know, how is this a sustainable business model? How do you master intraday trailing? You can just do very quick scalps or just be aggressive with that stop. So as the price goes in your favor, if your stop is here, all right, as it goes in your favor, then get your stop there. Then if it goes in your favor some more, just trail your stop. Now your stop is right there. But that stops at the buffer anyways, and then you're good to go. Michael, appreciate the prop firm. I am looking to increase my buffer. I assume payouts come from the butt. Correct. I am just trying to understand the drawdown. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So Michael, you'll have to face the age-old question that all prop firm traders have to face. Once you get into the above your buffer, how much money do you pay yourself with? How much money do you leave in there to give yourself a higher buffer? A higher buffer just means how much more money are you allowed to lose before you would technically, fail the account and have them take the account away from you. Because in theory, you could eventually. So right now it starts off again. We're talking in theory. And I'm going to take things to the extreme to illustrate the point. But it starts off you can't lose $2,000. But once you get into the pro account and you start making money, in theory, you could all of a sudden, instead of losing $2,000, you could lose $20,000, and you still would not lose your account because you build up the buffer. So the more money you make, you can either choose to keep that in your prop firm account to build the buffer, or you can pay yourself. But if you're constantly paying yourself as you make money, which I'm not saying is wrong, but if you're constantly doing that, well, then your buffer is always going to be $2,000. Like that just is what it is. But yes, in theory, you could grow it up to the point where you could take a $20,000 loss and you'd still be okay. Yeah, you'll have all that within the platform, Michael. Yeah, thanks. It is a little easier in those ones where I'm not trying to talk and think and analyze with people at the same time. By the way, if you are enjoying, if it seems like you've learned something, maybe you've had your eyes open. Oh, wow. Make sure you hit that like button. Profit target is double on 50K. Doesn't make. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good, Matt. That's the age-old question. I mean, I don't mean this seriously, but yeah, you could get into fist fights over like which account is the best way to go. So here's another way to look at it, and just something that crossed my mind. I had somebody bring this to my attention, and I think it's valid. So under the assumption, and this is an assumption you better use because you're being unrealistic if you don't have this assumption. You're going to blow up your account. You're going to blow up a prop firm account. That just happens. It doesn't make you a bad trader. The best traders I know that are way better traders than I am, they blow up accounts. So under that assumption that you are going to blow your account and you're going to need to get the account back, well, with Take Profit Trader, the get the account back fee is $100. So then it becomes a question of, okay, once you get the account back for that same one, and it's $100 across the board, no matter what account. So it's like, okay, so that for that $100, do I want that $100 to be getting me 25K in purchasing power, or do I want it to be getting me 150K? I maybe we'll call this the best bang for your buck argument. Again, I'm not saying this is how you should do it, just something to chew on. But from the best bang for your buck argument, I don't know. It seems to me like, well, if I'm going to be spending $100 anyways to get the account back, I might as well have that $100 get me 150K as opposed to 25K. So that is another way that you could look at it too. Is again, this is only unique to Take Profit Trader because I don't know how other platforms work. But with Take Profit Trader, in order to get the account back, to try again, and Prop Firm Lingo to reset the account, it's $100 across the board. So what do you want that $100 to be getting you? 25K in purchasing power or 150K? Or something in between? Again, that's just, welcome to the world of kind of what's the best account. Everybody's got different opinions on it. But an interesting discussion nonetheless. Do they tell you your buffer amount? Apologize for asking. I am still in the test phase. Yeah, no. You don't need to apologize, Michael. Good questions. Fishing, Mike. So I can have a 10K. Yes, yeah. In theory, Mike, you could grow your buffer to 10K. Now, the flip side to that would be, that means you could also basically have, $8,000 that you could have had paid into your account. So if you have a $10,000 buffer, but then you have a terrible day and you lose $10,500, well, all that money is gone. You don't have any payouts at all. So that's the give and take. So you'd be sitting there saying, "Wow, I could have paid myself over $8,000, and now I have nothing that I've gotten from this prop firm." That's a threat. So that's why it's always the big discussion: how much do you pay yourself, or how much do you build the buffer? So there are two stages, eval. Yeah. Overall, well, Take Profit Trader, and they'll. Yes, you have the test, and then once you pass the test, you move into the pro phases. So, lack of to keep it easy, yes, there's two phases. You got to prove yourself. And then once you move into the pro accounts, these are where you begin to keep your gains. 60% win rate with 60-40 win or loss average is how I'm trending. Nice. One more data. Good. Is your ratio anything to write home about, but below average? I don't even know. Is this your first test account, Zurbad? I can't remember. But if you are on pace to pass your first test account, that's a rare feat. You are in rare company. I always take the max because you never know how long you're going to have it. Exactly. Yeah. And some people, just to play devil's advocate to that, TJP, some people would say, well, yeah, but you'd have it longer if you build up your buffer. So you could ensure that you have it longer by building up your buffer. That's what I would assume they would say to you in regards to that. I'm not saying you're wrong. Okay, if I only trade you for micros. Okay, yeah, there we go. So it keeps a 5K buffer. So, yeah, thanks for sharing. Superfly, I think this must be your first time on the stream. Hopefully you come back. Sounds like you got your act together. I like people that have their act together. They provide a good chat room culture, which we really have here. Yeah, sometimes you get people that, I mean, I guess it's the internet that they don't want to admit. Like, okay, fine, I see where you're coming from. So here's just a life lesson. If you can't say, hey, to the other person, I see where you're coming from, and explain what they're saying, then you're not actually trying to listen to them. Yeah, well, during the week, Superfly, we have the markets open, I trade, stuff like that. This Saturday morning coffee, and it's just coffee, is a little more unique. But yeah, you never know what kind of conversation is going to show up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, TJP, fair enough. I'm just, there's always kind of a back and forth of things. Oh, okay, Zerbat. Okay, I was gonna say, man, was this all occurring on your first account? Because that's super impressive. But good, yeah, it sounds like you're finding your groove. The guardrails are great. I never would have learned these lessons without strict rules. Yes, I feel pretty good now. Like I know. There, thank you. So I got to highlight this comment. This is the power of Pam's plan. Some people argue against this, like it's a bad thing. Yeah, but prop firms have all those rules. It's like, well, yeah, that's a good thing because the rules start to create stuff like this. The guardrails, aka the rules, are great. I never would have learned these lessons without strict rules. I feel pretty good now, like I know enough to build on our... See? That's the whole point. That's part of it. And that's what I mean, where Pam's plan has an amazing way. When people start to argue against it, they're actually arguing for it. It's like, yeah, but you have all those rules. Well, yeah, but since when is rules that force you to do what? Well, rules that force me to manage risk. Rules that force me to consider my risk. Rules that back me into the risk management department. I understand risk management is not the most exciting thing to talk about. I know everybody wants to talk about how much money you can make and all that, and that's fine. That's exciting. I'll be the first to admit that. But problem is, that's not the stuff that matters. What matters is risk management. And with Pam's plan, you get that via the rules. So yes, Take Profit Trader is going to have rules on you. You're not going to, well, I mean, you can go behave however you want, but it's going to cost you dearly. Just like it would cost you dearly. Well, no, it's not going to cost you dearly. It'll just cost you your account. It'll cost you dearly, though, if you're doing that with your own money. So I do concede that if I don't want to follow rules, okay, you don't have to follow rules using your own money. But think about what I just said. If you think that you're going to show up as a trader with your own money and not follow rules, please find a charity that you love and just go donate that money to that charity. Please. My first time here. Do you stream your trades? Yeah, well, yes. I trade. I start every day at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I see their site. You can trade with TradingView. No, I don't use TradingView. I use Tradeovate. But yes, you can use TradingView, Anto. Yep. I was trading NQ. Okay, so Zurbad, to pick up with that whole conversation you're having. I was trading NQ instead of micros on a 25K account. God. Zurbad. So yeah, sometimes I just laugh because I've done the same thing. Because you know, and I know you know, that on the live stream during the week, I'm always telling people to start with MNQ. MNQ. But some people are like, no, I want to start with NQ. And then, yes, NQ you learned. It moves, right, Zurbad? Zurbad had to kind of learn the difficult way that this is true very much so with the NQ. But what's nice about futures is your ability to control it. And what do I mean by that? Well, with futures, and this was a game-changing invention. I don't know, it's probably about 5-6 years ago when it occurred. But game-changing invention, because it used to just be NQ. And again, NQ, oh boy, it moves. It moves. If you are an adrenaline junkie, you're going to love NQ. But, please don't start on NQ. Start on its little brother, which was the new invention called the micros, the MNQ. Again, it's still the NQ, but with the M micro, it just moves at a slower pace, we'll just say. So the ability to control movement is something that is very unique to futures, just via the addition of these new types of contracts. So it's the same thing. It's still the same. It's still the NQ, but it just moves slower. But Zurbad's point, it still moves enough. Where he says you can easily get grabbed 2 to 5. Well, I'm not. You can grab. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna leave out the word easily because there's nothing in trading that's easy. You can grab $200 to $500 per day with just trading 4 to 5 micros. Yes. Well, I mean within the point system. That's what I mean of how it moves faster. So real quick, just so I can clarify, because greatest nothing, they're not wrong, but they didn't. To perhaps the fault of my own, I didn't explain it clearly. When I say ability to control it and what moves quicker, what I mean by movement is in the world of futures, things move in points, or they're measured in points. Yes, there's ticks, but don't overcomplicate it. Points. So on the NQ, 1 point equals $20. So if somebody were to tell you, oh man, I just made 10 points on that trade, if they had one contract, then that means they made $200, right? Because if 1 point is worth 20 and they made 10 points, well then 10 times 20, there you go. They made $200 on that trade. And that is the NQ. Now, the one that moves slower is this. I guess I'm going kind of backwards. Is the MNQ. How does it quote unquote move slower? Well, the fact that 1 point equals $2. So now the person that made 10 points, they made $20 per contract. Now, if you have 10 contracts, then that would be $100, right? Because if it's per contract is 20, and then you had 5 contracts, 5 times 20 is $100, right? Some people get way too intimidated by the math of futures. It's not hard. It's not hard. So yes, I move. This means ability to control it. I mean P&L movement. The ability to control just how fast your P&L fluctuates. Oh, brother. D-John. Rules are going out the... D-John, are you still here, D-John, before I spend any more time? Risk management is hard. Correct. Rules are hard. Correct. Trading is hard. Correct. Life is hard. Correct. Trading has been one of the hardest things I've ever done. Correct. But also most rewarding. Yeah. I have 6 kids. Kid number 6. I finally worked up the courage to catch my son when he was delivered. That was like really rewarding. So I don't know if it's most rewarding, but I hear what you're saying. D-John, are you still here, D-John? I'm going to try to help you out here. Hey, Printer Brothers. Clay, correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem like you should even trade for... Yeah. But it depends, Zerbat. I don't know. Within the broad scope of your prop firm strategy, for some reason, does it mathematically make sense from a numerical standpoint, from a cash perspective, to just try to... We got to get this account online quick. We got to get it passed quick. So let's just, kind of bulldoze it. Let's just bulldoze the test here. Then yeah, maybe under those pretenses, yeah, load up in the NQs on a 25K. But again, that's always going to be a case-by-case basis. But yes, broadly speaking, I'd have to think through it more, but I'd say you're seeming to be in the right park. Did you bring your catcher's mitt? That's right, because are you going to throw some heat? Come on, D-John, you're not here anymore? All right, well, let me ask this. Is anybody else here? Because we have... I guess I know why. GME is anybody else here like on GME and they're expecting a huge move? Like, do we have any GME people that are all excited about some supposed is there like a massive move that expected on GME? Does anybody fall in that category? I just want to point something out to you as education, if so. D-John is one of those people but they have apparently left. Rules are going out the door for GME next week. All right, well, I'm going to explain it anyways, just in case somebody watches in the archive. But if you're one of these people, because now that was a third person that has brought up GME. No, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get a massive explosion like you got a massive explosion last time. Talked about this earlier, but it's important to read. So yeah, D-John is, that's why I was hoping he'd still be here so he could learn about how he's wrong. And he has bad expectations. So Okay, let's do it this way. So in 2020, when GME was the talk of the town, that and AMC was going bonkers. It was because of all the shorts that were out there. It was a highly shorted stock, all that sort of stuff. All that drama, it had to do with the shorts, which is true. Yeah, it was very highly shorted. And at that point, in January 2020, the short interest of GME was, there we go, was 2021 had increased to approximately 140%. So it was right around 20%, but then it increased to 140% of the float, okay? Back in 2020, and that's when it did explode. I mean, that was an epic short squeeze. How did it become an epic short squeeze? Well, because, no, but I watched the movie Dumb Money. I thought you were going to say Dumb and Dumber. I was just like, oh man, Dumb and Dumber is where it's at. Anyways, but yes, there was a massive short squeeze because of that right there. 140% of the public float. Okay, so there you go. You can get huge, epic moves when you're looking at that sort of number. Now let's look at that same number currently. The percentage of the public float. As of, I think they just updated it, wasn't? Or maybe, I don't know. But as of May, so as of yesterday, that public float number, remember, we were looking at it, 140%, is at 12%. So, and some of the movement that's already occurring is because, I mean, right now, I'm sure there's shorts covering. I'm not denying that fact. That's fine. Let's go back to GME here. Daily. So yes, past couple of days, things have gone. I'm sure there's been some shorts. But if you are expecting this sort of move, but boom, on just gargantuan volume, it ain't happening, Bretta. The stats are just not there. The shorts are just not there. When you have 100, again, remember 2021 when that short float was crazy? When you got a bunch of shorts and shorts got to get out, and in order to get out, they got to buy, yeah, you can get that sort of thing. When it's 140%, but when it's 12, can you get some decent movement? Yeah. But D. John and everybody else that's expecting some sort of epically big movement, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be disappointed. The stats, the shorts are just not there to provide all that buying power that you think are there. So you are comparing in apples and oranges. Hey, Superfly. All right. He's an addict. Recovering. Well, I know AMC, GME brought a lot of people back into the markets during COVID and all that sort of stuff. So in many ways, I'm grateful for them. A lot of our some really good traders in my community were introduced to the markets back by them. But yeah, that is why. And again, I realize I'm talking to D. John, who's not even here anymore. But anybody else that maybe watches this in the archives or what have you, that is why. That is why you should keep your expectations in line with reality. Reality being defined as 12% of the float is short, not 140%. Well, with that, what actually went a little bit. I was planning on this being 2 hours, but I'm going to go ahead and call it good. It's Saturday. I want to move on with my day. I don't know. I might be, because the futures market is open on Monday morning. But I don't know if I'll be here or not. So on that note, I guess I'll turn that into a quick plug. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because if I do come by on Monday morning, you'll be notified. And if you want to come hang out. But like I said, I'm not committing that at all. But I will be back Tuesday, as I stream all the time at 11. Usually I'm here early anyways. So again, subscribe, turn on the notifications. But the very latest I'll be on is 11 a.m. Eastern time. Monday through Friday. So if you have not yet, on the way out, if you don't mind hitting that like button if you enjoyed, that would be very appreciated. And again, if you want to get into Pam's plant, which is by far the best day trading strategy out there. Hey, Mr. Average, I didn't know you were here this whole time. Were you here for the whole thing pretty much, Mr. Average? Yeah, KC, same to you. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. Why are you trading gold futures? Stop trading gold. Robert, have you tried MNQ or NQ? Why? Were you here for my discussion with Tony? Did you hear the discussion with Tony? How do you like gold better than MNQ? I don't understand that. I mean, if it works for you, Robert, go for it. Yeah, you have a good one too, Tom. Gold is BAE. I don't know what that is. I'm an old man. I don't know what that lingo is. All right, well, I gotta get going. I'm not gonna. Anyways. Well, if you were here for that, hopefully that all made sense. I'm assuming it did, given you're thanking for some wisdom. I gotcha. All right. Like I said, if you don't mind hitting a like on the way out, that would be great. And if you want to help just support the channel, if you appreciate, hey man, I never knew about this Pam's plant and how it can be a day trade on futures. Again, if you want to get the discounts and support the channel, then you can use code CLAY. And that is, like I said, we'll give you the promotions and the discounts anyways. And it supports the channel and the live stream. So, yeah, I don't know, Michael. I don't know why some people are so obsessed with gold and oil. Like from a day trading standpoint, from my understanding, they're kind of rigid, they're kind of choppy. But I mean, I guess if people can make it work, so be it. But I don't know. All right, take care, everybody. Maybe I'll see you Monday morning. If not, I'll definitely see everybody back on. Sam, that's my opinion about him right there. Not good. Sam, take profit trader, as you've heard me say several times now. I'm just talking about take profit trader for the reasons explained, I think, about 4 times on this stream. All right, everybody. Have a good one. Take care. Have a great Memorial.